Penn Township Board of Supervisors now call the meeting to open, our monthly meeting, Wednesday, March 29th, 2017. First, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence, and then we will go into the meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. First on the agenda this evening, we did have an executive session on 3/2017, and it was for legal matters. All right, recognition of visitors.
Mr. Holman's on the agenda.
Yes, thank you. I don't get to the meetings too much. I've had enough of it in my lifetime, but here read the paper and hear a little scuttlebutt and hear this and hear that and see that and read this. My concern that I'm here about this evening is this potential of an annexation of Duncan into Penn Township. If you people, if this takes place, you people don't like the tax increase you had this year, you don't know what's going to take to promote that. I have in my hands, 49 years ago, a set of plans where taxpayer money from this township was spent on that very same thing by professional William E. Seas, is the engineer, and the plan of proposed annexation to the borough of Duncannon from Penn Township, 49 years ago. A lot was done towards that nobody ever knew anything about, and a lot of money spent on getting it to that point. And then there was a hard look at taking what it was and what it would cost, and it served no benefit to Penn Township residents, and neither will it again if it takes place. The residents of Penn Township cannot afford it for that to happen. That's my opinion. I have backup proof that this was tried once before. You can't afford it, folks. Don't let anybody blow smoke that they can. I have my reasons and good facts to back it up, what it would cost and where it is. So that's all I have tonight. I have a big concern about that taking place. And I want to express my opinion tonight. And the Board of Supervisors, I'd like to thank them for the tax increase we had this year. Not that I liked it in my hip pocket, but because they proved me right that I said what happened exactly happened. Within less than a year, they'd be in the CDs and you'd have a tax increase. So they proved me right. I would much rather they prove me wrong. And I hope in this case here that they don't prove me right again, that they prove me wrong. Residents of Penn Township can't afford it unless they want to pay a lot of taxes. It's going to take tax money to support that. That's all I have to say. The wife's waiting out in the truck. Thank you.
Can I ask a question while we're on this subject? Will it require a referendum vote to be able to make that happen if it does happen?
At this point here, to do a consolidation would have to be from Duncannon requesting to do that with their citizens, and likewise we would have to have a referendum on our side. But as of this day here, neither sides have talked and neither sides have approached each other.
To my understanding, they have other alternatives though.
If you guys would please, if we need to follow the agenda, if you wanted to speak at that time on that matter, we can do so. All right, thank you. Helen, next.
CC?
I have a question. What happened to our food truck down at Ward's?
He had a special event to go to. He's coming back.
Wow, it's been gone for a while. A special event.
That's what I was told.
That's the problem with mobile businesses. How much revenue do we actually get off of a mobile business? They pay no taxes as far as property tax for actually having a business here in the township.
No, they wouldn't pay property tax. They would have to do the earned income tax, the LST tax.
That's about it.
Yep.
Yep. We don't get much money off of something like that. Okay, thank you.
But I think if people do visit the corridor and spend money at our other businesses, then I do believe we do profit.
Well, we had other businesses, that would be great. We lost 2 on that corridor, besides the food truck. Just in the last week and a half.
Jesse Boyer?
Speaking of that corridor, I know that the municipal authority is on this, I'm sure, with both feet. But I've been down along there several times, and I don't know if I'd want a business in down there with the smell of sewage that you get constantly. And with the economic development group that's pushing to get some businesses, et cetera, in, I think something needs to be done about that. I have been 4 or 5 places down there that you can smell sewage while you're standing on the property. I know that sewage system that was put in down there was a problem from the word go, but it's been around for a while. I think it's about time something gets done about it. That's all I have right now.
Mrs. Gauss?
Nothing.
Mr. Gauss?
No.
John Chapawana?
Nope, nothing at this time.
Barry Schaefer?
Nothing at this time.
Mary Jane Schaefer?
Nothing.
Okay. Jim Chrisman?
I might be a little early on this, on the cannabis issue. A flyer was sent around by township to ask questions whether they approve or not disapprove of it. I was wondering if you have anything to say about that.
Yeah, that's further down on the
It's gonna
agenda,
be on the issue, okay.
on what the responses were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my next thing would be on the issue with the cease and desist on the Morrison property. Is Penn Township planning to continue monitoring the situation there? I know the police, you had the police doing that before, but they're no longer in on that. The last thing I have is we're missing a road sign out there. I don't know if Penn Township is involved in that. The left turn signal sign on Cove Road is missing on the right side of that 11 and 15. Either somebody ran over it, I don't know, but it's not there anymore.
Where's that sign at, sir? Where, Cove Road?
Just before, just south of the Cove Road sign. It's a left turn signal sign. It's not there anymore. I don't know if somebody ran over it, but.
But it's along 11-15, sir. It's along 11-15.
Yeah.
To show you to turn left.
Yeah, the left turn.
Code. I'll check it out. I can make a call to Hank Swartz with Penn.
Cease and disorder on board.
About him not being able to build in that barn? The building you talked to me about.
Yes, yes. It's a building that was previously, had work done in it without permits. There was a cease and desist put on the building.
It's still in effect.
It's still in effect. So without having the police department to go in and check that out, who do we send in and make sure that they're staying in compliance with that cease and desist?
Helen.
Thank you.
Sorry, Helen.
With somebody with it.
Yeah, with somebody with her.
Yes, because I'll have to go on to private property to get to that.
Lenny,
Lenny?
Yep.
Okay,
Lenny and you.
all right. I'll let him know. Anything else, Jim?
So, thank you.
Okay. Ron Little.
Yeah, I have two things. One of them is my wife and I both drive school bus and park the buses in Penn's Cove. And I just want to thank Ken and his crew for doing an excellent job on the roads that we travel. He had a tough situation. If it wouldn't have been for the drifting roads, we could have gone to school on Wednesday, but we didn't. She travels on Sawmill, I use Butcher Shop, and they were two of the worst roads in Penn Township. Butcher Shop was closed for 2 days. He got them open, the turnarounds that we have to use were all cleared out, and it makes it a lot easier for us to drive when things are taken care of. The other question I have is in regards to the cannabis company that wants to move in. Can I ask that now or later?
Oh, that's fine, yes.
I understand, and I've emailed Helen, and I gathered from her answer that maybe nobody at the township knows anything about it, but before anybody can move in there, there has to be a $2.3 million upgrade to the electric. My question is, who's gonna pay for that?
I can tell you now that between conversations with me sitting on the Economic Development Board that oversees the business park, that the developer or the company is looking at putting those expenditures out.
Yeah.
They will recover over a 10-year period about 700,000 of, roughly 700,000 of that 2.5 million upgrade.
Yeah, because that's a bid from PP&L. Their other option is to put in a generator plant that's operated on gas. And I'm assuming that they're gonna be responsible for that as well, if that's the way they elect to go,
That's correct.
if it's approved.
Yeah, the township could have nothing to do with any of the
Okay.
upgrades in that.
Just wanna make sure our taxpayer money's not going in there.
No, I can tell you now that
Okay.
unless there's a grant money
And
or
I know
something
you
like
were
that's
at the
awarded.
meetings where that was discussed.
Correct.
I have very good sources, so. Okay, that's the only questions I have. Thank you.
Susie Little? Mr. Leopard?
No, not at this time.
Mr. Benner?
I'm wondering about 12 Brook Road, what action is being taken there, and also I found a hypodermic needle out there, fully functional, it was marked insulin. I still have it at home, I should have brought it along tonight and give it to you. But is something going out there that I'm not aware of?
As
We
far
have
as,
some drug addicts out there using insulin needles for other purposes.
that's a possibility, always.
I haven't heard anybody mention until just now that there was anything found out there. But unfortunately, because of the heroin, they'll do heroin anywhere. I can tell you, anytime that I walk the business park with my daughter, sometimes in the evening, we will actually find syringes out there. No matter where we walk at in our community, whether it's down in Duncannon, here in Marysville. Unfortunately, the heroin situation throughout our country. So unfortunately, until we can get the government to finally, to crack down and help the human services to be able to get these people help. Me personally, I just spent 5 days, now it wasn't heroin, but I just spent 5 days trying to get an individual into rehab for alcohol.
Well, we have little children out there that use that as a walkway and things like that, and I would hate to be the one to tell the parents that their child died because they got a bad needle.
I don't know if that's something we could possibly contact the school district with and see if they could do some type of education with the kids about not picking up, but report.
Well, I was a child once too, and what the school told me and what my parents told me didn't necessarily mean
Yeah, right there with you, brother.
Do you want to have an answer for Rupp Road right now, or do you want to wait until later on?
We can wait.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Johnson, Bob.
You've come to see what happens next.
Okay, Henry left. Jim Ryan.
Nothing this time, thank you.
Sue.
Just a couple questions. Medical marijuana is still not approved in the United States to be used. It's an M1 drug, and I talked to Mark Keller yesterday, and he said that the banks cannot even handle the financial payments and things for it. The federal government prohibits banks from utilizing money for marijuana. So I'm just tossing that out there, because that doesn't make sense to me, how these people are even gonna get, once we get to the point, how they're even gonna get the money. They'll have to have cash, which then poses an even higher risk of potential problems, people knowing they're gonna go get money, and then they're gonna, go get the marijuana and they have money. So that's one concern. 12 Welk Road is another one that Helen said she will address later. But that concerns me with this medical marijuana. If it's not a legal substance that can be used legally in the United States, I just don't know how Pennsylvania approved it, nor do I know how we are going to get money off of it. And that just, it's like we get money off of all our vices, alcohol, tobacco, and God forbid people stop smoking because we never have enough money in the revenue.
I just want to bring clarification on the definition between medical marijuana and medical cannabis. You're correct, medical marijuana, recreational marijuana has not been approved in the United States. We've had an administration over the last 8 years that turned a blind eye to it. Therefore, we have states like California, Colorado, and others that have recreational marijuana and medical marijuana. But what we're talking about here that is legal is cannabis, okay? So the marijuana is being grown for the cannabis, which is medical cannabis. So marijuana will not be consumed and will not be a product that comes out of this.
No, not to smoke marijuana.
Correct.
Medical marijuana, medical cannabis, whatever you want to call it, is still not a legalized drug.
There are two different categories. Medical cannabis is authorized by the federal government.
Sure about that?
Yes, medical cannabis is. Medical marijuana is not. Okay.
So medical marijuana.
There are two different classes.
What would medical marijuana be used, I mean, is that the smoking marijuana?
That's the smoking marijuana. Medical, people would be prescribed marijuana to be able to ease their nausea after chemotherapy, or to help them with the depression, because so that's what it would be. That's what medical marijuana is for. But this is actually medical cannabis. Cannabis is being extracted out of the plant for the purpose of research and for medical purposes. So they will not be receiving marijuana leaf or any of the marijuana itself or THC. The cannabis will be extracted from the plant. And that's the difference. It's two different classes.
Anything else? Okay. Henry the Third?
Not this time.
Stanley?
With a mobile business like the food trucks, do they pay a peddler's permit yearly, monthly?
I don't know.
Does a mobile business like a food truck have to pay for a peddler's permit on a monthly, yearly basis, or is it a one-time fee, or do they pay nothing at all?
I don't think they pay the peddler's fee, the peddler's permit, but we'll have to check with Helen to be sure, but I don't think we do. Or they do.
And on the police audit and study that was done, is it finished? And if so, when's that going to be made available to the public?
It has not been completed. We were expecting it by the end of this month. I'll have to check with the auditor to see if that report is going to be to us by Friday. Last time we heard that, we were expecting it hopefully by the end of
He
this
has
month.
another question. Okay, so.
The second part of the question is, will it be made available to the public?
No, it would be public record, correct? As long as it doesn't, things may have to be redacted if there's criminal or if there's, when I say criminal, meaning anything reports,
Yeah, it should be,
yeah.
or personal information. So the final report would be available. The notes and information of the investigator would remain his notes.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Stanley had asked if the food trucks pay for a peddler's permit.
No, they come in under conditional use. They have to get a special permission under zoning. So far, all of them where they want to be are conditional use, so they come in through that area, not at the peddlers. Peddlers are more door to door. And they're basically in one location and people come to them. Okay.
Not okay, but okay. Thank you.
Okay. Craig.
Good evening. I have part of our year-end report. The financial piece is far from done, but there's some call information here. Actually, this is the first or the second, third, fourth page of what you'll be receiving, hopefully by next month. Usually we try to get that in March. I just didn't get it done this year. Page 1 is our year-end numbers, overall numbers for 2016, breaking down the calls per month, the calls into other districts. Also total calls missed by secondary units where either a crew or a vehicle wasn't available. And at the bottom, add some numbers including the advanced life support, the ALS dispatches, class 4 or DOA incidents, and the air evacuations for the year. Second page is the breakdown by call type. I want to highlight the number at the bottom and the word potential. If we collected what we billed and the service we provided based on our rate structure, we would never, ever, ever have to request any kind of contribution or any kind of outside source from grants or from the township or from fundraisers, because we'd have $854,000 a year. The reality is, if you look 2 lines up, is $246,000 based on the numbers of the calls that we don't bill, calls that are refused or calls that are canceled, calls where the patient doesn't want to go, standbys, things like that. If we respond on a fire incident without a patient or a crash without a patient, there's no billing for that, but there is time, there is fuel and wear and tear on vehicles. Bills sent to collection and a lesser payment ultimately accepted, that typically takes 2-3 years. We just got a call for a patient from 2007, I believe, who wanted to go get a mortgage or go get a car loan, and it came up on his credit, so he had a $700 bill to pay us back. So that takes literally years, if not longer, to collect anything, and usually they're a lesser amount by the time they're settled. Subscribers, there are people that buy our subscription, which, by the way, should be out in the next 2 weeks or so. It's at the printer now. That term runs May 1st to April 30th. I'll make sure that Helen gets some here in the office. The subscribers, we bill their insurance, but they're not responsible for any out-of-pocket costs, whether that be a deductible or a copay or a balance not covered. It typically is 80 or 85% coverage from most insurances. Medical assistance and Medicare are fixed payment. I think medical assistance pays $140 or $180 for an ambulance transport. I think Medicare pays about $400, including mileage. So our base rate is currently $785 plus $15 a mile. So do the math. Incidents billed to insurance with only partial reimbursement and balance billed to a non-subscriber. That's about 173 calls last year, and those numbers are where the person did not buy a subscription, they used the service, had insurance, and we billed the balance to that subscriber. Again, some of those fall back to collection, some of those are paid, some of those are not. And then the final line of only 120 calls, which is less than 10%, is incidents billed to insurance and 100% reimbursement. Another challenge we see often, we have one pending for about $8,000 right now with District Judge McGuire, is a case where the insurance paid their insured never paid us. So they cashed in the money and did whatever they did with it. That is a Penn Township resident, by the way. So we had a hearing that was supposed to be last Thursday. It's been rescheduled for April 14th with Judge McGuire for about $8,300 from last year. So that's a big chunk of money. That's a payroll. Actually, that's payroll and a half for us. So those are some of the challenges we're facing. In addition, we abruptly, about 3 weeks ago, we got information from Stonebridge Health and Rehab that they have again gone with another vendor for their non-emergency transfers. So we, not having the consistent revenue from those transfers. I reassigned our 2 full-time people that were previously handling the non-emergency function of our organization, trying to supplement the emergency function, and they subsequently submitted their resignations. So we're down 2 full-time employees that had previously done the non-emergency service. Those vehicles are parked. We scrapped one of those vehicles last year. We have 2 that are parked presently, not a whole lot of resale value. We want to be able to offer that service, and we have people available at this moment simply don't. So we're also cutting our full-time business coordinator in the office to about 20 or 24 hours a week from a full-time position to try and save some money there. So we're doing what we can. Again, we trial, also the other big thing is we trialed that MICU process for 4 weeks. Had a lot of calls missed, both ours and the advanced life support calls elsewhere. So at this time, Holy Spirit EMS doesn't want to continue. They're very interested in a full-time collaboration, but not a weekend-only collaboration. So we're back to trying to fill those shifts on the weekend and trying to afford to pay those shifts on the weekend. The third page of the document that I provided tonight is the breakdown by municipality. You'll see, as always, Penn Township has the highest volume. Take that to understand that we've got some commercial space in the corridor, the 15 corridor, also the school, also 2 nursing homes. The nursing homes comprise about 1/3 of that number. So if you didn't have the nursing homes, the extended care facilities and the addition there at Cora, we would.
Gonna go on more time?
I'm almost done.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
That you would be probably right in line with Wheatfield with similar population. I also broke down the contributions. The contributions totaled in cash last year, $22,500, because if you recall, you paid the 2015 contribution in 16, but I did not include that here because that was actually a contribution allocated from the previous year's budget. So there's a $7,500 contribution, which accounts for 1.28% of our overall revenue, our overall operation. And if you look down below, the total from the two municipalities from 2016 was only 5.11% of our total operation. We're looking forward to the increases. Duncannon Borough is allocated $10,000 for this year. Watts Township, when they received our MICU letter at that meeting with nothing budgeted, they allocated $1,500, which is something. It was a start. We appreciate that very much. And I'll just point out that Wheatfield's contribution of $22,500, their total contribution for the township is $25,000. 10% goes to New Bloomfield's Fire Company ambulance, and the other 90% comes to us based on the coverage area that's provided by those 2 agencies. So just, again, I'm not trying to pick on Penn Township, but I'll just point out that their call volume is half of Penn Township's, and their contribution was more than triple this round. So should there be anything you need from us, please let us know. I want to work on finishing this report for municipalities to receive, and certainly if there's anything that you have as ideas or things that we can do to provide information or to give you what you need, please let us know. We're working through day by day. We're working on right now trying to reconcile our patient care reporting and make sure that that's making it from the county dispatch process through our PCR software through our billing company. So that's a task at minimum. So should there be anything you need from us, please let us know. Thank you as always for your support.
Couple quick questions, if
Yes,
I may,
sir.
Craig. Legislation, I know we talked several months back. Have you considered a proposal of legislation to our legislators to possibly pass some laws that insurance companies would have to pay EMS directly?
It is in law. It is statute in Pennsylvania. However, I think as I've indicated here before, the insurance lobby is a little bit more funded and much more powerful in Pennsylvania than the emergency services. So although it isn't, we actually were part of a class action suit about 10 years ago by a law firm in Pittsburgh through the Ambulance Association of Pennsylvania to try to address that, and it really went nowhere. So the requirements are there. The requirements are there by the Insurance Commission, but unfortunately, we know who pays the legislators apparently. I have been asked by the Pennsylvania Emergency Health Services Council, which is PESH, it's an advisory body to the Department of Health, to serve on a 7-person committee for the state to address some of the primarily personnel and financial issues that we're seeing. I need to track down Representative Keller and Senator DeSanto to express my interest in doing so. The executive director from PESH and Mechanicsburg actually contacted me last week about doing so. So that's going to be a point of contact. I did have some conversation with John DeSanto's chief of staff a couple weeks ago about that very issue.
Okay. And then number 2, I'm going to assume in the EMS world, you talk to other EMS companies, are they experiencing the same situation?
Absolutely. As you know, New Bloomfield, or I'm sorry, Marysville and Ichabsburg have both closed their doors. And it was a combination issue of, what comes first, the horse, horse or the cart. And if you don't have, the days of volunteers, unfortunately, I think are diminished at best. And if you don't have money, you can't pay personnel in the absence of volunteers. Ichabsburg lived on savings for a number of years and made their bills. They ultimately ran out of money and closed the doors. Marysville had some residual funds in an account, about $250,000 is my understanding, when they closed the doors, and there's been some discussion between the fire company and the borough on how that money is going to be replaced or placed elsewhere. But I think you have right now, most of the agencies in the county living on borrowed time is the essence. All of the agencies are struggling for manpower, but some of them are in a better financial situation because they run half the calls we do, so their cost is less. So they have, if they have $500,000 in the bank and it costs them $150,000 a year for payroll, that gives them a couple years to survive. I think long-term, some regionalization, consolidation, or outside entity is going to be the only way to move forward.
Thank you very much, sir.
Certainly. Thank you all. Sorry for taking up so much time.
Byron,
Nothing right now.
okay. Lee? No?
And Lee already told me.
Okay. Anyone else I missed? Don't think so. Okay, that's it.
Okay, next on the agenda is invoice and expenditures.
Other than the normal bills, we made a payment for workman's comp. We had to purchase salt. We also paid our liability insurance, and we had to pay for our financial audit for last year. So a lot of the bigger bills are being paid. And we needed help with some snow plowing. And we had to fix the snow plow. Snow got the better of it.
It was actually 3 plows.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The cutting edges, normal stuff, and then one broken part.
Do we have a motion on the table to accept the invoice and expenditures?
You have a motion, sir?
Okay.
Question.
Make a second first.
Second? All right, it's been second, yes.
The fire meeting there, I noticed, is there payment in there for the insurance from Duncan?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, they haven't voted on that. That will be coming up under the agenda later on.
Okay, and can you tell us what the extra expenses were for the hired snowplow?
For 5,000.
Okay.
Have we received?
Total.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we have the treasurer's report. I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report, subject to audit. Do we have a second?
You have a second,
All
sir.
right, the second's been made. Any discussion?
Just to point out that their fire tax account is on here now, so you know how much comes in, goes out. We received 4 checks. Yes, 4 checks so far for taxes. Okay.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
I have one additional item I'd like to mention. The municipal easy access CDs, where we have our money invested, Mifflintown has increased the interest on those CDs from 0.65 to 1%. So all the CDs that we currently have, once they mature and they roll over, they'll start earning 1% interest.
Do we know when that maturity takes place?
Several dates of, first ones are in July.
Okay. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the minutes. We have the minutes of January 23rd, 2017, which is the regular Penn Township Board of Supervisors meeting. Then we have the January 25th, 2017 conditional use. And then we have the February 15th, 2017.
So it's the regular meeting, the 25th of cannabis.
Correct.
What you're missing.
And then we have the February, is it the 15th?
Yes. That's that joint CEDACOG meeting?
Yes, this is the CEDACOG meeting that we had referencing to grant money and water for Duncan and then for Penn Township. And then also we have the Penn Township Board of Supervisors, February 28th, 2017. Do we have a motion to accept these minutes?
She cannot vote on the, down to the 15th. She can only vote on the 22nd.
Okay. So she can only vote on the February 28th.
22nd. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right, the 28th. That's
28th,
that's
okay.
my problem.
All right. I make a motion that we go ahead and approve the minutes of the January 23rd, 25th, the conditional use, the regular 25th meeting, February 25th. Do I have a second?
You have a second, sir.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Now I'd like to go ahead and then make a motion that we receive the February 28th meeting notes. I make a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Yes.
All right, it's been second. Any discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. All right, next we'll go into the highway report.
You have numerous reports there in front of you. You have the highway report from the last meeting that we didn't go over, and then you have the newest, latest highway report. Even though I kept two of the supervisors in the loop most of the time, I did a storm report just for your, for information. You have bids that are going out. The oil, CRS, the E3 oil, it's now CRS2 oil.
That we would need authorization to advertise.
And you have I called numerous places, but you have only one respondent quote for the building, for the repair of the overhang, the soffit, spouting, the holes in the roof. There's pictures included with that quote you'll find in there. Other than that, just a few things to follow up on from previous meetings and questions. Mr. Chrisman had mentioned, I think, 2 meetings ago, when we plowed about excess, he was concerned the stone was coming off the tar and chip. I'm not saying some of that was not from that, but what most of that was the dead end where they stopped tarring and chipping. There was a lot of excess stone there, and the plow just kind of pushed it, made it look a lot worse than what it did. I just want to leave you know I did check it. Now, obviously, some could have been from that. Wanted to confirm with Mr. Holman, you had mentioned a pipe near the cemetery or something. Can you give me a little more information?
Well, do you know where the cemetery is?
Well, I know where the cemetery is. I took it like you meant the pipe down off the road further. Did you, I mean, I looked at.
It goes across the road right at the cemetery.
Oh, okay, that crosses Cove Road. Okay, I looked at that.
You can't miss it.
No, I looked at that. I took it that there was a problem further off the road.
No, it's on the lower side.
Yeah, I'm okay then, okay.
That's a galvanized culvert in there that's starting to fail, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Am
well,
I correct?
I mean, at the end, it's,
Half full.
the stream needs cleaned up some. The pipe kind of kicks up at the end, but I just wanted to confirm that I was looking at I thought you meant down further. Just in general, with the storm of the magnitude, I just want to assure everybody, take it serious, your safety and well-being. Not trying to make any excuses. I realized things weren't as clean as they could have been, but once those winds started, we had no choice but to shift gears and keep one lane maintained. God forbid somebody have a fire or a health emergency, we had to go into a different gear. Like Mr. Little's comment, I will pass on to the employees, goes a long ways for, the winds made it tough, let's just say that. I don't want to, especially in the drifting areas, which everyone saw. And especially try to communicate with everybody, and I have communicated with Mr. Little on the phone, because the safety and well-being, especially of our children, he drives a school bus, so, you know, we want to deal with everybody's safety and well-being, but especially our children. Last thing we need is a school bus down at our bank or something. I realized things weren't perfect. We went through some trials. It was tough, but all in all, I think compared to what I've seen in some neighboring townships and everything, I think it was, you know, we have 28.84 miles of road. We have 71 different roads. We have 25 dead ends. We have 7 cul-de-sacs. We have 740 driveway entrances, which, by the way, I feel terrible when we got to keep coming back, and you folks have cleaned the end of your driveway, but not a whole lot we can do. Especially in the drift. I really felt bad about 2 people on Linton Hill because of the drifting. We had to take it across the road the other way. You know, it's just, but it's tough. I would hope everyone could come next Saturday the 8th to the Roadmasters meeting. Maybe we could talk about snow removal a little bit, especially people that have any concerns or anything. What we're going to be talking about in that meeting is we have 2 major issues that we need to get on top of with our roads. One is sealing and not tar and chip seal. Sealing with a bituminous, Penn Twp approved rubberized seal coat. For whatever reason, I don't know why it has not been done in the past, but it has not been done in the past. We got to get on top of that situation in our shoulders where the sod is over the edge of the road. It's just killing the longevity of our roads. Just absolutely killing us. And if we don't get on top of it, we're going to really have a situation if we continue to leave it go. So I would encourage everybody to please come to the meeting. Oh, and by the way, I want my personal cell phone I put out. I wish everybody would get it, and it's on the website. You can call me anytime. Over the weekend, or whether there's an issue, I want to know about it. Just feel free to call me anytime. I'm here, I look at my position as representing the residents. I'm service. Basically, I'm service. So, pretty much it on my end. Anybody else have any?
Wait a second. Got 2 people, hands up.
Yes, go ahead.
What time is the meeting on the 8th?
8 o'clock in the morning.
That's my day off. I watch cartoons. Out of Illinois Road, somebody came through and dug that up. Was that the township or the cable company?
No, well, we made a 1 call to try and fix. I can't say that I know the cable company wasn't there, but we tried where it was getting so sloppy and crazy. We tried to get some little better base in there, and unfortunately we found a wire like 9 inches under the ground. couldn't get the proper base in, we should have. I applied for a block grant, through the block grant, for low volume road drainage issues. So it's on the plan to fix that properly with probably some R4, some heavy stone. For now, it was kind of just a, to tell you the truth, I felt bad because Noy Road's been left go so long.
Well, it's ruined because when the grass was this high up over the road.
Yes.
Same thing that you're talking
Right.
about. So it's been a waterfall that
Right.
over the rainstorm.
One of the bids, you'll see is for Noy Road. One of the bids is for Dippendorfer. One of the bids is for a scratch and an overlay on Watts. And then three of the other bids are for tar and chip. I already know we're not gonna be able to do them all. However, we were instructed by the Penn rep that takes care of our liquidated fuels, Mr. Rick Levan, we have to put more out for bid than we think we can do. Because if we only put so much out and see we have some left, we can't just go do it. We can't just direct that contractor to go do it. So we purposely put more out for bid than what we know we can do. Part of the meeting next Saturday is the supervisors. I'll be taking them for a ride and showing them everything so that they'll help make a decision on priority. And I'll show them, of course, why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the cable company was out there scratching, or you guys were?
No, we made a one call.
Yeah, I seen that, right?
We made a one call and then, but we already found the wire, just because it was being rutted up. We already found the wire before we even made the one call, so we were aware of the situation.
I just wondered who was out there.
Yeah, it was us,
Okay.
trying to take care of the mess. I felt bad the way it,
Is what it is.
well, I understand, but, I mean, if I lived there, I'd be looking to, not,
I live on top of the hill.
well, I'm just saying, whomever, whomever. I mean, it's, it's something that was long overdue. Yes, sir.
I understand we had some equipment failures, and I'm pretty sure that most of them were readily fixable. I also understand that we had employee injuries.
We
And
had,
I'm assuming they're fixable too, I hope.
well, we had advertised for a temporary employee. We only got, initially, we got like one response, but, that, whatever the call, something wasn't correct there. But then we had someone apply after the fact, brought them on board. The wipers quit on Sterling. This gentleman had filed for Penn Twp before. So what we brought him in during the day and took a ride with him and showed him we just gonna have him do the longer straight roads, Schoolhouse, Linton Hill, Butcher Shop, the longer straight roads with the Sterling Creek. And he got done with his pass up in this end of the township and started down to your end of the township. And somewhere on Cove, the wipers failed. At that time, we thought the motor burned out. But it wasn't the motor then, but I think the motor did freeze up. You know how if you tap them still, they'll free up. I think that had freed it up. But anyhow, we found out later there was a problem with the arm as well. But in bringing that truck back and parking it, he was going into the shop to call me and fell at the shop door. That was that situation. I actually fell twice myself, but I'm too silly to get hurt, I guess, so.
Is he back together, or, is
Yeah,
he
yeah,
fixed,
yeah,
like the equipment's
yeah,
fixed, or?
yeah,
I'm getting that, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, he's okay.
Okay.
Now, he was just hired temporary, so he's not missing any work, but it was only in a situation like a major storm. We're okay up to 8 inch, 6 inch, we're okay up until that point. And then some other issues. Got stuck a few times, of course.
We do have local people in the area that can help you get towed out if you think about it. A lot of people, farmers and stuff, they could probably be more than willing to help. I understand you had to get a tow truck.
Yeah, called Mr. Fuller. We had to winch it out.
Okay. I mean, there's, you know, I'm sure some of the community people.
Well,
in the farm-
Mr. Rob was already, he was there with his snow blower, he already helped some with the snow blower just to get down there, and he was out taking care of other stuff.
Okay.
I mean, but that's good to know, and again, I wish, you know, people would come to the meeting and offer that up. I'll shortly write it in my diary and keep that for a record, you know, and gladly. I mean, take any help we can get.
All right, so we have to take action tonight then on the CRS 3 oil
Yes.
action for advertisement.
Advertisement.
Okay. I make a motion that we go ahead and put out the CRS oil bid, or 3 oil bid, give authorization for that to be out, advertised. Do I have a second? All right, it's been second, any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay, ayes have it.
Okay, the paving project, as Ken said, there's, what is it, 3 alternates or 4? 3 alternates, Watts Drive, Diffenderfer, Noy. Yeah, Noy.
And this is for advertisement?
For advertisement.
All right, do we have a motion on the table to accept these 3, but for ads, authorization for advertisement?
No motion, sir.
All right, we have a motion, do we have a second? All right, we do have a second, any discussion?
Not at this time.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay, ayes have it.
Okay, along with that, there is the price adjustment for the bituminous materials, the escalator clause to go with that bid. This language is from PennDOT.
Okay. I make a motion that we go ahead and accept the price adjustment of bituminous material for small quantity of resolution number 2017-03. Do I have a second?
You have a second, sir.
We have a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Ayes have it.
Okay, the tar and chip, same thing, advertisement. Linton Hill Road, the portion that was paved a couple years ago, that went from dirt to pavement. Schoolhouse Road from the school district south, and Hickory Drive.
Okay, do we have a motion on the table to go ahead and authorize this work to be done? Or bid, I'm sorry.
Bid.
Yes.
Give him a motion, sir.
All right, do we have a second on that motion?
Yes.
Okay. All, any discussion?
Question, what's the length on Schoolhouse, the whole thing?
No, from the school district down to the tea room. Schoolhouse, let me see here. Oh, I got
Because
this.
Sorry, I just wanna know.
Because that's
From
the
11
road.
to 15.
Yeah, it is.
The road is really starting to ravel apart in the last year.
Awful, thank you.
Is that
All right, all in favor say aye.
Yes,
All opposed
advertising.
nay. Ayes have it.
Okay, and the last thing is the quote for the highway garage. This amount is under where we have to get 3 quotes. So it would be up to you 3 to decide whether you want to accept this quote or try to get more quotes.
This has been put out already, correct?
I've contacted 5 people, 3 of which told me they would definitely be responding. The one I know showed up and looked at it, but no response. 2 of them never responded at all.
So this is the only legitimate
This
response
is the
that we
only
have.
legitimate response.
And this one here is just for the garage.
For the garage.
You'll see 2 different ones, one for the overhang, the facial, the spouting, the holes in the roof, and the fix the ridge cap.
Okay.
And then the other one is options. That would be smart to get done while someone's here. in the back of the building, there's spatial's never been put on. Their proper spouting is not on. There's residential spouting on instead of commercial. The small spouting, it's not handling that type of volume coming off that big of a roof. And there's some rottage. The wood is really deteriorating at some other places. But I asked them to quote that separate.
I make a motion that we go ahead and accept the proposal for the garage. And I guess it's,
For everything?
well, for the garage.
For all the options, is what I'm
2
asking.
pages. You're looking at this one,
Oh, I thought this was
and
the
then you're
second
looking
one.
at the 1655. So there's actually two different quotes.
Just for your knowledge, with all the options, you'd be about $850 over what was budgeted. $5,000 was budgeted. If you take the two and add them together, the 42 and the options, you'd be a little bit over the budget.
Well, looking at the severity of the damage or of the wear and tear on those buildings, if we don't get them all fixed, it's just gonna end up causing more money in the future.
Yes. I mean,
And if it's
obviously my plan was to show it to you next Saturday as well, but it would be my recommendation to get it all done while someone's there. Another mobilization next year is just gonna cost you more money. The more work they can do in one mobilization, the cheaper price you're gonna have.
For a total price of $5,630 if you do everything.
What was that again, 5,000?
$5,630. 630 over the
So 630 over.
budget.
I make the motion, we'll go ahead and do all of the repairs for the amount of $5,630. And that would be all the repairs to the
Highway garage.
highway garage and the township building.
No. This is all
Everything's
just
at-
highway.
Everything's at the garage. Everything's down to shop.
The township building come up later, Brian.
Simply the garage.
Clarification on the motion that we go ahead and approve for the repairs to the garage only in the amount of $5,630. Do I have a second?
Yes.
We have a second. Any discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Who's the contractor, if I may ask?
What's his name?
Ted Carr,
Yes, Ted Clark.
Construction.
He's a local,
I think he lives in town,
he lives down in Lower
down by the
Cannon.
Sunoco.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the planning commission.
Yes. Got the stormwater maintenance declaration, easement declaration for ACD Realty. Basically, if you'll accept this is a standard form we use for this. Basically, it's whether you guys accept this or not. If you do, you get to sign it. It's the original.
I make a motion that we go ahead and pass the stormwater easement maintenance declaration This declaration is made the second day of March 2017. Do I have a second?
Give it a second, sir.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed nay. Ayes have it. All right, next we have the economic development.
They did not have a meeting because of the snowstorm. The next one is in April, so there's no report.
Okay. Next we have the zoning report.
Okay, you have the February and March zoning reports before you.
Okay. Okay, next we have the sewer enforcement.
Yes, you have the SEO's report for February and March. Applications, some permit issues for new houses. And you also have a Porter-John agreement for down by Joyce Hand. When she got the conditional use, at that time, the landowner had told her she could use the bathroom in the old diner there. He has now, since then, reneged. So she got a Porter-John, then I took this down and she got it back to us and all that. She's asking for the first week of spring, March 22nd, through Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving.
There is municipal sewer there.
Yes.
And in her lease agreement to have her,
I don't know if it was a written lease agreement, but in the conditional use, she has stated that Mr. Ward was going to allow her to use that facilities for employees only,
but we don't have his testimony to verify that.
only what was said in the conditional use hearing in the transcript. He did not say that, she did.
Yes, correct. Will this be used for her and her employees?
Yes, that's the main purpose of it. She's going to keep it locked when she's not there, with a padlock on the door. I'm sure if someone's coming and using it and the kids have to go, she's gonna let them use it. But the main purpose is for her and her employees.
How does this affect the ordinance where 150 feet from service, you must be connected? Now, I realize being a mobile food truck, you don't have facilities, but we've been through this battle before.
Mm-hmm. She has no output going into the sewer system from her truck.
From her trailer, right.
Yes. So the only output she was going to be using was the bathroom, which is already in place, and I have no idea if anyone else is using it or not.
I mean, this sounds more like an issue between landlord and tenant for use of facilities, and I can see a whole can of worms being opened here.
And I'm gonna open them.
You bet. It's exactly what I'm thinking of, Lee. That's why I said we've been through this before.
The money I spent to put a bathroom in down there. More than once.
And that other food truck's supposedly in there too. What's the scoop with them?
I don't know that answer, Jesse. I don't know if they were,
It was not asked of him about the facilities?
no, I don't believe it was. Mr. Smith?
You have the minutes from the,
Oh, that's right.
the minutes from the hearing.
I don't recall it. I don't recall any discussion or any of the conditions about, because again, because that would be the landlord-tenant situation, as you see mentioned. And again, our ordinance.
You only discussed gray waters.
Yeah,
Correct.
With whom?
And she,
with Mr. Schneck, the other food truck.
Oh, you did, okay.
And his is self-contained gray water.
and the only discussion we had with her was that she volunteered that information, that there was an agreement.
At the, her conditional use hearing.
I make, with the information given, again, this is clearly established in our ordinance. And again, this is between her and her landlord.
Okay.
So I make the motion that we deny the portable toilet permit.
And have her contact her landlord to,
Work out anything between the two of them. I mean, we can advise her, but we can't tell her she has to do that, you know. That's her issue.
And that's been our stance in the past.
That's correct.
I second the motion.
All right, the motion has been seconded. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
wait.
I'm sorry.
I got a question after the motion.
Okay. All right, any further discussion?
Well, we have a,
Yeah. it's on the-
yeah,
Go ahead.
discussion.
To dwell a little deeper on the porta johns, how do we know that permits are being issued for all of these? And if they're issued 1 year and it's like for summer seasons and stuff, or it's a seasonal use, how do we know that they renew it for the next year? Do we have an enforcement policy in place for this?
Well, the enforcement would be, if we see it, I mean, we have to go out and see it, if they're gonna have it for the second. Now, construction sites don't have to have a permit.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Sheets, Penn State football.
Yeah.
You bring extra portable toilets in, you get a permit?
No, they have never did that.
Okay?
Okay.
There's other places that I'm sure that have applied for permits. I'm just curious to see if they renew them every year.
They're supposed to because they're issued for a certain time
Do
period.
you go back and check the previous permits to see if there's anything there for the next year? Use that as a check station system? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I have not in the past, but definitely will now.
I would encourage you to go back 2 years from now, and you might be able to be surprised what you might find.
Why are we issuing permits for bathrooms to be used all season long? I was required to put in a bathroom down on that lot, and that's a seasonal lot. And now we're doing seasonal porta johns, but I wasn't allowed to do that.
No, they just denied that.
I was denied that.
No, they just denied
We
that.
just denied this.
They're voting
Yeah,
to
but
deny
now she's
that.
talking about seasonal porta johns.
Well, most of the porta johns are seasonal for where they put the permit in.
Like here at the baseball fields, for when they have their tournament. They have a seasonal,
Well, they put it in for the whole season.
for the, well,
Yeah.
I mean, the example is, and I'm not picking on a business, but I just brought that business up, and that is a seasonal reason, and that's what they put them there for, is when
Yeah.
the traffic's heavy for football. And I do know they're there for that time frame, and then they leave. I just asked if there was a permit issue for them.
No, there wasn't.
So you're talking, this is for recreational and it's not for businesses? You're talking more or less for the ball fields?
Well, and to use sheets, if they want one for that, they have to still put in for the permit, the
So then if I
application.
wanted to put in a business that does not have sewer, I can come in and say, hey, I want a seasonal permit for an outhouse and start a business.
Depending on where the location is. You are also right by sewer, a public sewer line. So that takes into consideration too. And you are building, even though it's a seasonal business,
permanent toilet.
for most of them, you are building a, well, better word, a stick building. Because those are all buildings, not just a drive-up truck or something like that. And that was, not these three, but that board that made that decision.
All right. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Okay.
All right. Park and Rec.
Yes, you have my report. I have three quick things. April 8th, from 11 to 2, we'll have our annual chicken barbecue, and Duncan Fire Company will be coming up.
What's the date again, Karen?
April 8th. You guys, I believe Mike talked to Charlie, and you'll be coming up around 6:30, 7 o'clock. Hopefully we don't have it like we did last year, the snow. We have a closed drive that the Park and Rec is sponsoring. That'll be September 9th from 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 p.m. So if any residents have any clothes that don't fit or you want to get rid of, we're doing it like we did a few years ago. We're just going to open up the whole parking lot and just lay our tarps out, and any household items except big items like no TVs or anything of that size, but anything under that, if you have no use for it, and it's going to be for the community just to come up, it's free, and whatever they need for their homes or family or children, they can just take the, no questions asked, just bring boxes and bags and take what they need and just go to try to help out the community and the ones that are in need. This Saturday at 1 o'clock, we are having a rabies clinic. So if you have any animals that need any shots, any updates, and also we have appointment of the groundskeeper tonight, action on that, and the recycle grants.
Okay. We do have with the Park and Rec appointment of a groundskeeper. Helen, myself, along with Karen, held these interviews. We had about 6 applicants apply, and out of the 6, we did weed them down to 3. Looking at the 3 applicants, I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and approve the hiring of Rose Wakefield, which is a township resident, in the position of Park and Rec groundskeeper.
Salary of?
The salary was 11.13.
Yeah.
$11.13.
Part-time position?
It is a part-time position.
Any probation period?
There is always a probation period according to the handbook, 6 months.
Just want you to have it on record.
Okay. All right. With the motion made for Rose Wakefield, do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
With the recycling grants for the park here, those were for those recycling bins. Unfortunately, we did not get picked for it. They had 350 requests, and they were only able to award 42 of those. They did offer that we can take advantage of contacting the vendor directly and purchasing them at a reduced rate.
Do you think the rate is better than CoStar, or we don't know what the rate
It
is?
depends on which bin you're looking at. The one that we were looking at to trying to get, no. that CoStars might have a better, might have it. The other version of it, yeah, it's $69 for each of those.
Just for information, while you're on the park and rec, we're gonna try and turn the water on tomorrow,
Okay, thanks.
as long as nothing gets goofy.
Okay, next, on the agenda, we have.
We drained it for the winter,
I'm sorry.
the building.
Ken, what time approximately might you do that, just whenever?
I'll check things in the morning, it's probably late morning.
Okay.
Okay,
Municipal authority.
municipal authority next, we have a connections notice.
Well, we have the, yeah, okay. Yeah, 4 Hilltop Road was not connected to the sewer back when we put the sewer in for reasons that the authority agreed with, at that time. Since then, it's changed hands twice, and they have someone living there, so now the authority has sent us a request to send out the connection letter. And this is more just for, and normally it's just automatic, they send us the request, we write the letter and send it out. We have to send it out because the ordinance for the connection is ours.
Is our ordinance.
Is our ordinance. Therefore, when it comes down to it, we have to enforce it.
I make a motion that we go ahead and send a letter for connection notice. Do I have a second?
You have a second, sir.
All right, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right,
Cece, that'll go out tomorrow.
Great, thank
I don't know about that.
Next, you have a reappointment to the Sewer Authority, Mr. Russell Wirtz, who lives down in Perdix.
is it a reappointment or?
No, it's a brand new one.
Appointment.
These would be replacing Mr. Ox.
I make a motion that we go ahead and receive Russell Wirtz, the recommendation to be appointed to the Penn Township Municipal Authority. Do I have a second?
You receiving the recommendation or are you appointing?
We're appointing him.
Okay.
Point, yes.
On the recommendation of the municipal.
Yes.
Yes. All right, it's been second. Any discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Okay, and then you just have some minutes to look at. Henry has more.
Just to bring you up to speed on the connection that is down at Hilltop. So everybody's up to speed when this comes up, there's probably another issue here. It's been an ongoing process. When the system originally went in, they denied us the installation of the wet well that we normally installed for everybody. At a later date, when everybody was supposed to be hooked up, we required a hookup. They said nobody was living in it, so they physically disconnected the sewer system. They physically made sure there was no water in it, and things were de-energized. So that building was technically a dormant building. And physically, somebody has had to go back in and connect everything up to make this come online.
Question, Henry. Are you sure the sewer the on-lot septic was disconnected? Because I have no records of that.
Mr. Ox was down and visually verified that.
Okay,
Because that was part of the agreement to make that stuff go away for the gentleman that did not want to hook
Okay.
up to the system at that time.
But from what we understand, it was physically disconnected, but the
It was-
tank was not crushed nor
It
filled.
was not,
Okay.
no, it was just physically disconnected, okay?
okay.
And that's why I wanted to clarify that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, I'd like to make comments on what Mr. Boyer made previous here, okay? I will not deny that there is issues down here. They've been trying to be addressed for many, many years. If you go down along the back of Burley Road, you will see there is a building down there that we installed with the intention of trying to suppress this odor issue. It has a tendency to reduce it. I will not say it's eliminated it. We're still experimenting with the treatments of it. And the main issue that we have, since the system's the size of it is and the way it's getting used is, you will find that it is certain times of the day, that system, you will get an odor from it. The thermals coming off the mountain, the heating and the cooling. Pulls the air up, pulls the air down. We've been trying to see what we can do to eliminate that. We have not been very successful at that. I also notice every once in a great while, when I pull off 1115 and go back in, the same issue exists at King Court. I do believe we have the ability somewhere, somehow, to reduce this, to make it go away 100%. I do not know if that's possible. We have our operator. We discuss this almost every meeting, am I not? Right, CC?
Yes, that's right.
We questioned him what he's trying to do with this. Because I drive up by there, you don't smell it early evenings and stuff, but you will just about dusk when the temperatures are changing, the coolness comes down off the mountain, pushes everything around. It's a seasonal thing. In the wintertime, it's not near as pronounced, but it is there. This year, I've come up through there almost all winter, and I will not deny that there's an issue there. We are trying to relieve that. It's been a long process. So, I hope that answers your question the best I can, Jess. I would like to make it better.
Well, I would like for you to make it better, but I know that you were given a,
We've invested
mess.
money in, yeah, we've invested money on this, and I'm not saying that it's a bad design, it's just that the where it's located along the mountain range and stuff, you get that situation. And
I understand.
we're trying to adjust things the best we can, so
Okay,
I
thank you.
don't mind the thing, I appreciate that, I'm glad to, we'll do what we can.
I'll bring my smells to you.
Okay. All right. Next, we have the secretary's report.
Okay, the first thing I have is with the resignation of Mr. McGuire, that left us with no vice chairman. And also point of contact for the office and highway department. So those things need to be clarified.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Joe Landis as vice chair of the Penn Township Board of Supervisors. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Or you can't. All opposed, no? All right. Mr. Landis abstained because the vote pertained to him. As in the office of, for reference to the office and to the highway, I make a well, I guess I can't make the motion. My recommendation is, for now, that I continue filling that capacity for now, for at least the next month or so. And then, as, we'll be working with, Mrs. Huss, I'm sorry, to
Transition.
Into that position. So I would need somebody to make a motion that I, as Board of Supervisor Brian Peters, would continue those capacities of the connection to the office and the highway.
I'll be happy to make that motion, sir. The chairman, Mr. Peters, continue as the liaison, so to speak, for the highway department.
And the office.
And the office as well.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. I abstain. Your vote has to do with me. All right, next we have still in the Secretary's report.
Yeah, the bank's changing the rules again. They want to have it officially in the minutes that, being that Pam's now on the board, that it's in the minutes that there's a change of signatories.
So anytime that there's a new signature required, all of the board members have to go right down and read.
Well, no, it depends on the bank. Some of them let me bring it to you.
But they want a motion saying that we're approving to add the signature.
Yes, that we're removing McGuire and adding Pam.
Right. I make the motion that we go ahead and make it official in the notes for the purpose of the bank that, that we remove Brian McGuire due to he is no longer a Penn Township supervisor, and we will add Pam Huss as our new supervisor to the signatures. Do I have a second?
You have a second, sir.
Any discussion? Right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Ayes have it.
Okay, this one's more for Mark. A gentleman came in from Perdix. There's that alleyway there in the middle of Perdix. You got Firehouse, you got the alley, then you got the State Road. There are houses on each side. Four-wheelers are driving on that road in Perdix. It's not a township. The alley's not ours. They wanted to know what the township could do to help them.
Nothing.
Short and sweet.
Not our road, not our enforcement.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and then we have the municipal building quote.
Yes, this is to fix the soffits on the front of the building. They're rotting away. So they need to be fixed, replaced. And the gentleman at the, also gave a quote on the, oh, where am I at? To seal the cement steps that are starting to chip away because of salt and snow and weather and all that fun stuff. He's saying to demo replace the existing wood on the triangles above the doors. Power washing, scraping and sanding as needed, that once it's up there, and to paint them. And then to repair the slabs at the doors on both, and this is for both this entrance and the other front entrance. He's quoting $1,650 for this. I mean, you can definitely see the rotting away. Maybe not at night, but during the day you can see the rotting away. And I do not know how long it's been since any work has been done on them. Longer than I've been here.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right, I make a motion that we go ahead and authorize for the repair onto the municipal building to Todd L. Carr Construction in the amount of $1,650.
Ryan, that's Ted Carr.
Ted.
What did I say?
Todd.
Todd, it's Ted, I'm sorry. Ted L. Carr Construction.
Second.
All right, motion has been second. Any discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Ayes have it.
You got the yearly right to know listing on how many and how much it would cost my salary if we were allowed to charge that, and the time. We had 91 right to know requests last year. And then I gave you the minutes of the January and March Cumberland Perry County Task Force meeting. You missed that. They brought up again about the, oh, that's the wrong one, 274 intersection here, not much discussion. I got the January and February, because it was a surprise to me. Brian didn't report on that. So this is just for you guys to look at. The next meeting will be May 25th. And then Pam and I went to a HATS Freight Focus Group meeting up at the county. They mainly talked about what our concerns are, where problems might be as far as commercial freight in the township. A lot of discussion went on about railroad access, loading and unloading, and where different areas have different problems. Here, New Bloomfield, Newport. I don't think Marysville was discussed on that.
8:15, 15.
Yeah, 8:15, 15. Just a quick synopsis. They're going to have, they had Cumberland County meeting version. They're going to have a Dauphin one. Should have just had it.
I think we just have it.
Yeah, and then there's going to be a big group of all three focus group meeting type thing for all three together with hats sometime in the future. And then I gave you the goals for the office for the year. And that's all I had.
Next, we have the engineer report.
Yes, I have two items. One, we should have a memorandum. I was asked to review the meets and bounds description for the right-of-way for the dedication of Twin Oaks Drive. We've reviewed that and compared it to the reported plan, and it's accurate as described, and we'd recommend that you accept that description. And I guess ultimately you're going to be accepting dedication.
Eventually, once they do the repairs to the shoulders.
Yeah. But as far as I'm concerned, those are fine. And the other item I have, we have not heard, and I asked Kellen tonight, we have not heard anything back from your waiver
No, not for MS4.
at this point in time, and our office submitted, I think, 11 waiver requests in December. We have heard 5 back so far. So, they're behind schedule.
Now with the Twin Oaks, we don't have to take any action on that.
No, they have to actually do what they're going to do on the shoulders. At that point, they will officially ask us to take it over.
After inspection.
Yes. And then, I don't know if you do it or their engine.
They're gonna provide a deed for me to review.
Okay,
And
they
now I know
provide the
that
deed.
Max has approved the description, I have that, and then I'll recommend to the board whether you can or can't approve the deed based on legal, and then you make the decision after you've got it all done.
While you're on that subject, I've been wanting to bring this up before. We have a book of guidelines when people are doing developments.
Mhm.
It's not in there to get core samples. I'd recommend you get that in that book, that they have to provide you core samples when they do paving.
He's talking subdivision land development ordinance. It's not in there now. We can put core samples into that for when the planning commission reviews that, which.
It's just to confirm your thicknesses and your yields,
Would
because
that just be for visual observation, or are you gonna have them fully tested by a lab?
I think, I'd recommend
Chemicals
having,
content and everything.
at least not worried about compaction with nuclear density, just get the sample to confirm the thickness. Because you get a development that calls for 4 inches of base, 2 inches of binder, 1 inch of top. If they choose to crank got screwed, 2 cranks, you're getting screwed.
Well, yeah. The other option is to have somebody watch them, so.
Yeah, which I will be doing.
So it would just be random course, just
Yeah.
to check depth.
Yeah, just to come in, drill the core a lot. Max would know how many to, for a certain area, based on a certain area, maybe 3 cores at random.
Per Penn done.
Just to prove, per, right here.
Just to verify that.
It would be to our best interest so we don't get caught taking a development over and find out, all of a sudden the road's breaking up and find out why. Boom, we were supposed to get that and we got that.
Okay, if you can go ahead and pull that, and then we can go ahead and.
We'll give it to the planning commission. Yeah.
Okay, next we have is the solicitor's report.
Provided board a copy of written report, half a page, and I think both are there
Yeah, January.
for January and February. Really been nothing new. If you look at the report, it's just been day-to-day issues dealing with questions regarding enforcement issues or road issues, etc. No new litigations, no changes in status.
Thank you very much. All right, next we have is the emergency services. First under that is the fire committee.
With reference to the fire committee, I have enclosed a report with reference to the meeting that we held back on the 22nd. And I think the initial meeting went fairly well. And quite frankly, we got lucky because of the people that we have on the board. They're educated, they're knowledgeable with reference to both the fire service and Mr. Boyer, Jesse, his interest with reference to the nickels and dimes aspect of the entire situation really helps out. I do have a couple recommendations that came out of that meeting. The first of which was we had Mr. Paul Saltis asked to become a member, or volunteered to become a member of the committee. And I would ask the board as a whole here to recognize Mr. Saltis as a member of the fire committee. I think he brings an awful lot to the table, both with his working knowledge of the fire service and as a taxpayer and his concern for the spending of our tax dollars. So I would ask that the board as a whole, that we recognize Mr. Saltis. The second thing that came up was with reference to the workman's compensation bill. And that was the one financial aspect that we actually discussed at this particular meeting. And that was the bill that was turned in to us from Duncannon Borough. And it was a recommendation from the committee that the Board of Supervisors here pay the 2017 workers' compensation bill that we received from Duncannon. With reference to the other year's bills that we have here, there was no recommendation from the committee. There were several different options and opinions, and basically it was left up to us as a Board of Supervisors to make a decision on how to go about handling those bills at this time. But the recommendation was that we approve the workers' compensation bill for the year 2017 come out of the fire tax. The other thing was I would ask that the Board of Supervisors here consider expanding the vision or scope of the committee itself, and I have included a mission statement, so to speak, in the report. I would ask you all to consider enlarging the scope and the mission statement for the fire committee. The other things, one of the other things that was discussed was the old fire study from 2003 that was completed, and whether that needs to be updated, either tweaked, so to speak, or redone completely. And I have attempted to reach out to the gentleman who completed that study, and I've yet to make contact with him on his suggestion on that. That's something that we're going to take up at the next meeting, which is scheduled for the 12th of April at 7 o'clock. And as I said, I was very impressed and thankful. I thought the meeting went well, and once again, I think we're lucky with the expertise and the way that the meeting itself was handled.
All right.
Can the public know who all the committee members are?
Oh, yeah, that's public knowledge. Right now, without the vote for Mr. Soltis, we have Joseph Blandis, representing Duncannon Fire Department. Well, Joe's representing the chair for the Board of Supervisors. Byron Warner is Duncannon Fire Company. Our new EMC director, Jesse Lance. And then we also have at large Jesse Boyer. And then if we approve tonight, Paul Soltis.
Thank you.
How many people are you looking to have on the board?
Well, right now, we're going to be looking at 5, but we would have to go to 7 if something would ever move on Purdick's side, because that would be an even board for recommendation.
Not necessarily if I refrain from any votes.
Well, that's correct. So it could be adjusted. So but right now, it's the 5-member board with voting recommendations. All right, I make a motion that we go ahead and accept Paul Soltis for a member of the Advisory Fire Board Committee.
Second.
Okay, motion's been second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Now, that makes 6.
No, that makes 5.
That makes 5.
Yes. All right. Next in rep,
Oh, I was supposed to say 2017
We also
workers'
have
comp.
Yes.
concerns of paying the workers' comp.
correct, yep. Next we have here, the 2017, our portion of the workman's comp insurance premium in the total amount of $20,400.
No.
Let me finish.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, the insurance, because somebody's going to ask, so I might as well put it in there, all right? So the Penn Township, okay, for the amount of $20,463.00, with Penn Township's portion, which is 44% responsible, would bring our amount to $9,089.24. I make a motion that we go ahead and pay the 2017 workman's comp insurance premium of our portion, $9,089.24. Do I have a second?
From the fire tax.
What's that?
From the fire tax.
It would have to be paid from the fire tax.
In the state that.
Anything that does with the fire department automatically goes through, so I don't have to state it.
Nope.
Okay, motion's been second. Any discussion?
No, sir.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. All right. Now we have at hand, we have 3 bills that have been submitted by Duncannon Borough in referencing to the workman comp premiums from 2014. And the total amount for the insurance premium of that year was $15,916. Again, Penn Township portion of responsibility is 44%, leaving us a responsible payment of $7,061.15. Also, we have received a back request for 2015, again for the workman's comp insurance for Duncannon Fire Department, in the total amount of the premium of $15,543.00. Again, Penn Township's responsibility is 44%, giving us $6,899.64. Then we have 2016, that was rightfully submitted, an amount of $19,883.00. Penn Township's responsibility is 44%, which gives us $8,828.21. Question mark. These three bills were just submitted to us from 14, 15, and 16. Because, well, wait a
Wait a
minute.
second. Let him finish his question.
With this taking place, these were for premiums that was before our fire tax that were just now submitted to us.
I don't know enough information. You're gonna ask if you should pay them, the answer is I'm not.
Well, not that we should
I
pay
can't-
them, can we pay it out of the fire tax, or is it gonna have
I
to come
don't know
out of the
enough
general
yet.
fund? Okay,
Ask me before the meeting, let me ask tomorrow, but I can't tell you tonight.
so we
where-
table this portion for now until we can get a clarification.
Yep.
I make a motion that we table the request for payment on the premiums for 2014, 2015, and 2016, until we get advice and recommendation from our solicitor. Do I have a second for that motion?
You have a second.
Any discussion?
Lee?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. It was-
okay. I just saw the hand.
I had actually two questions. I understand it's Duncannon stupidity they didn't send us a bill. But was this money budgeted every year in our budget to pay this? Okay, so if it was budgeted, A, where's the money now? And B, why didn't we notice it wasn't paid? You need to tell me, like in 2015, we didn't notice that, hey, we got an extra $6,000, or we got an extra $9,000. So we just laugh and put that aside, or did we spend it, or did it get put into a separate account so we could pay it eventually?
To my understanding, those monies, once that they're not spent, any of the line items aren't spent, that line item goes away the next year. Well, that's with municipal budgets. You don't carry lines over.
Was it
Is that
not
Mark?
You guys budgeted it the next year.
Yeah.
It was in your budget,
all 3 years?
All 3 years it was budgeted.
yes.
But if there's
Helen,
line
Helen,
item-
Helen said at the fire meeting that it was budgeted all 3 years.
Correct.
Well,
Yes.
you just said it wasn't budgeted.
No,
The
I
line
didn't say
item
it wasn't
was-
budgeted.
Yes, you did. You said the
I
line item
said,
would go away.
I said it goes away if it wasn't spent.
You said the line item goes away. Line item would be that that whole line would disappear. That's what line item would mean.
Well, we wouldn't be in this mess either if Duncannon would have been responsible for their own selves.
I agree with
Right.
Stanley. The borough was stupid.
But still, the money wasn't spent, and I just can't believe that we didn't notice I mean, I understand, I know the games you play. We put $20,000 to fix a building, we don't fix the building, so now we got $20,000 more. I understand all that.
No, I wasn't gonna say that.
No, I am.
Yeah.
And this is a fire tax, or a workers' comp that we know we have to pay every year, and I just can't understand why we didn't notice, why Wheatfield didn't notice, why whoever didn't notice that we didn't pay it. I mean, it's not like it's the fake money that we throw in there. If you have an answer, I can't understand why we didn't pay it.
Good, sir.
I can't speak for why Penn Township didn't pay it. I don't know that I would call Duncannon, quote, stupid. I will say that for 4 years or 3 years, we had a situation, and perhaps some personnel and some oversight that was clearly lacking, was clearly poor. I'm embarrassed, as I said, to Wheatfield Township, and you put that right in paper. I'm embarrassed that the borough let this happen, with the levels of oversight and the checks and balances that should have been in place. The borough apparently paid that bill because we still have a workers' comp policy through SWIFT for the fire company that we're required to provide. The allocation is determined per capita. I think that's something to make very clear, is that it's a $20,000 bill. There was a significant increase for the 2016 premium from 15 to 20, and it's based per capita based on Pennsylvania state statute. I also know that Vicki Jenkins, the Wheatfield Township Secretary, made several inquiries of the borough office as far as why it wasn't billed. I don't know what answer she got, either none or we'll get back to you, and then we'll get back to them. So there was clearly a failure at the finance level on the borough council, or the past borough council, and in the office of the Duncannon Borough. I will assure you, and I think everybody in this room knows, there's been significant changes down over the hill. Hopefully for the better, hopefully some for the better, and I think there are more to come. I don't want to call Duncannon stupid. I don't think that was a fair statement.
Well, okay, I think.
And I don't think our mayor agreed that statement was probably appropriate.
I don't think that the borough is stupid. I think not sending bills for 4 years was stupid. It was an oversight. That was a bad mistake. So we certainly have to own that piece of it, that we didn't do our part.
And again, we have to take blame on our part because it was an oversight, but it wasn't just us either. The other municipalities likewise. And believe me, it wasn't like, oh, we're not going to pay them. We're going to see if we can stiff them. That was never. So if that's anything anybody's suggesting in this room, they can just unsuggest it because that's not true.
And in fact,
not true.
I will offer that Helen at the December meeting, I believe it was the December meeting, actually questioned it.
Yes.
As she indicated,
Because
I
Byron
would.
brought up if we had paid.
I wanted to know the amount that they paid, and Helen was kind of.
Yes, that's right.
And when Helen mentioned that, as she expected, I emailed the manager and said, what's this, where's the stand? And we had actually gotten
So
the
when
bill that
knowledge
day.
of it was brought
Or that
forth,
week.
action was being taken.
Correct.
And as that action was being taken, now we have it in front of us to take action.
And I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry on the borough's behalf
Well,
that
and we
this
should
has
have been a
happened.
little bit more astute on our part also. It was brought up in December, and this is the result of it being brought to attention along with other municipalities. So now we just have to.
And I think, and I don't want to pick on Penn Township again, but I think you also heard some reports tonight about, stuff falling off buildings and roads that are falling apart. It sounds like some things haven't been maintained elsewhere, by other, factions. And I applaud the people in this room for taking some action, spending some money to fix those things. So a $1,600 repair doesn't become a $5,000 repair or a $20,000 repair later. I'm embarrassed for the borough's behalf that so many things got to where they are, and that Penn Township and Wheatfield Township are being faced with unbudgeted, 2017 unbudgeted expenses to try to cover. Our solicitor tells us there's a 4-year statute of limitations on debt collection, and that, we should kind of tread lightly and work with what we can. Hopefully we can work it out. But, I even said to Wheatfield that, they need to do what's in the best interest of Wheatfield.
And let me reassure you, you don't have to be embarrassed.
I am.
Okay, but I'm just
You're
saying.
not going to change that, sir.
I know, but from our side, we're not wagging the finger.
Understood.
We understand there's a responsibility in front of us. We have to determine through our solicitor how it's going to be dealt with, okay?
And that's the question I had in the committee meeting. Where does the obligation lie? Because of the law, it gives them the right to bill for reimbursement. It does. I don't know if it mandates that you pay if you're not billed. So that would be something for the solicitor
That's what
to
our solicitor's
determine
gonna
whether
look
or
at.
not there's a 4-year debt collection on a debt that was never submitted, how can you collect?
Yep, and our solicitor will get those answers to us, hopefully.
If it's an agreed,
Correct.
like I'm saying, there was no, as far as I know, with that bill, there's no contract that says, there's no agreement between the municipalities, it's just a law that allows them to bill for the collection of your portion. That's an insurance policy, that's come and gone, there's no tangible asset that exchanged hands, so that would be my question on what the obligation is to even pay it.
The law doesn't require them to bill it in the year of service. The law allows them to bill it. If we receive the services, they're allowed to bill it.
That answers that
Slow on,
question.
yeah, they're slow on bill. So it's only if they bill us now and they wait 5 years and they never come after us, then we might have to pay it. But that's not the circumstance. So right now, we're just looking at where is available to pay it from.
That's why I asked the question, so I know. It's a good answer,
And one other comment on that is the only 3 municipalities that do contribute to that workers' comp bill are Duncannon Borough, Wheatfield Township, and Penn Township. We had discussion that Reed Township, although there is service received by Reed Township and a call volume in Reed Township, because of the population, because it is a per capita allocation, there's almost no population that Duncannon Fire Company serves in Reed Township because it's essentially the island of the bridge. And there's
what was there, 6 residents?
I think there were 18 properties and 6 might be residential.
6 or 12 residents or something?
It isn't really a nil number.
All right, so we have the appointment we did already.
Expanded scope.
Expanded scope. I don't know if we need to adopt the mission statement of the fire board, because the second class act gives us a wide, a broad, they paint it with a broad brush of the, what we can do with the fire tax money and how those expenditures are paid and stuff like that. So I don't know if we need to, this mission statement, if we need to approve it.
I don't know what I wasn't privy to when the board was created, what the purpose of the board was. But if the purpose of the board when created was narrower than that mission statement, then you would want to redefine the purpose of the board. So if you said we're going to put a board together to look at a budget, and that's all you said, and now they're doing more than budget, you would want to redefine the purpose of the board you're establishing.
All right, let's go ahead and table that part. If you can go ahead and work with the board in the next meeting that you have, and look at the second class act that governs that.
Yeah.
And what we originally spoke.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, I make a motion that we table that portion of redefining or defining the broadness of the board of the fire committee. Do I have a second to take?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right. All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. Ayes have it. All right.
Chairman, one more thing on the committee. I did ask the question to Supervisor Landis that we were discussing, just brief discussions in the payments. I had discussed, or I had presented to them that we were still comfortable with the 2 or 3 installments per year, not necessarily getting, however, we're comfortable still doing the way we did our previous payments. We received our previous payments, but it is that time of year again for the first installment, and just wanted to bring it to the attention. Our in-house financial review has been done. That will be submitted here this week, but just to make you aware that is upcoming when we historically got our first payment.
Well, again, what we have to make sure and get clarification here that this is no longer a donation, this is a fire tax. And therefore recommendations to the board will come from the committee on how and when that money the expenditures of that money will take place. So at the recommendation of the fire board to the board of supervisors, at that time there, those decisions will be made.
Well, that was a recommendation in the fire committee from myself to Supervisor
Okay,
Lance.
all right. Oh, did you guys vote on it?
We didn't
As a
vote on
recommendation
that.
to the supervisors?
We made
It was a
recommendations.
discussion.
Now, the recommendation was, or this, the conversation with reference to that topic was that, keep on the same payment schedule that we've had in the past with reference to, Duncannon. But that was the extent of it, as I recall the
It was
conversation.
just a discussion.
Yeah.
There was no vote on the
Yeah,
on
there's
the
no type
recommendation.
of vote or anything brought up as far as recommendation. Simply, there was no outstanding bills or need for any immediate funds from the fire department. And as far as, unless something unforeseen came up, the type of payment schedule that we've had in the past would work, and that was the conversation.
If you could address that with the committee at next meeting
I will do
and bring
so.
that recommendation
I
to
will
the
do
board.
so.
All right, okay, next we have the EMS. We have a police report. Anything from closing of the police department and?
No, it's just a
anything
matter
else?
of the
DA's
incoming
request.
monies from the district justice's office. That's the extent of it there.
And the district attorney is satisfied with the steps we've taken to suspend the police department?
As far as, well, as satisfied as he can be. Yes, sir.
Correct, okay. All right, next on the agenda, under the emergency services, we have EMS. Okay, we had budgeted for EMS, they're
22.5.
22.5.
That's this year's 15,000 and last year's 7,500 that we did not give them.
Okay. A recommendation from our treasurer and secretary, and actually it came out of one of our budget meetings that we should look at trying to split that up more throughout the year instead of one sum here and one sum there. So with that recommendation from several folks in the community at budget meetings, and also the recommendation from the treasurer and the township secretary, I'd make a recommendation that we
A third or a fourth.
yeah, which would be most appropriate or most easiest for you guys to do.
A third.
A third.
Which would be 7,500 for the first 3 quarters, basically. That way we don't have to worry about how tight we're gonna get it at the end of the year.
So we're looking at a March,
Well, you get permission in March, they get it with the first payroll in April, in June, and then September.
okay, and each of those months was gonna be how much?
7,500.
Please say one again. June.
Oh, March, June, September.
I make a motion that we go ahead and out of the 22.5 to Duncannon EMS, in the amount of 7,500 for a payment for March 2017,
To be paid with payroll?
to be paid with payroll.
Okay.
And then if you could put it on the schedule for the June meeting and the September meeting, so that way we can authorize those releases at that time.
Looking
Do
for
we
a
have a-
second, sir?
Yes.
We have a second.
We have a second, any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Should be accepted payments.
The week of the 10th.
We appreciate it very much, more than I can express. Thank you.
Helen, can I have a discussion with you for a second?
You were right. How long the agenda was.
Okay, next we have the permit reports.
You have them in front of you. January, February was very quiet. You also have the 2016 yearly report, so you can see what was happening.
Thank you. Next we have correspondence.
Okay. The first thing, I'm sorry. Everybody's talking. Okay.
Can we have silence in the room, please, so we can continue the business of the township? Thank you. Correspondence.
Okay, the first thing you have is Harrisburg Area YMCA. They are, and they would like to know if we want to enroll in their American Lung Association for Cumberland, Dolphin, and Perry. This basically would tobacco-free parks. Do we want to, outside the area, building a park, do you want to prohibit tobacco?
So they're looking for
us to perhaps join them in banning the tobacco use in the park itself.
Helen, what's the cost on that?
No, we just make that a policy that you can't smoke in the park.
But you have to have signs posted.
Yes, so it would be, we'd have to pay for the signs, and truthfully, I don't know how much those are right now.
And who would police this?
That's the hard one. Technically, it should be the Park and Rec. But it's like the dogs in the park. It's hard to do unless you catch them in the act.
I make a motion that we do not, oh, I'm sorry.
Signs are free.
Signs are
Okay.
free.
Signs are free.
The signs are free. I make a motion that we do not participate in the YMCA's American Lung Association for Cumberland, Dauphin, Perry counties, and Department of Health, the program to ban cigarette smoking in township parks.
Yeah.
No, I do not wish.
Do not.
You don't need a motion. If you don't want to take action, don't take action.
We don't have to take action, okay.
You can withdraw your motion.
I withdraw that motion. Any discussion with the supervisors?
Why would it be your opinion if it's not?
Well, one, it would be hard to police, okay? We don't have staff in the township to police it.
But the signs alone will deter them?
You're putting stress on
People are using syringes in the parks that are gonna not smoke.
Well, no, it's open for discussion, so.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it anyway.
Well,
Yeah, when we have no
well,
alcohol,
let's do
no
this.
dogs
Give you more
allowed, then
time to
no
think about it.
smoking, we're
Do we
gonna
want to
be
table
No,
it?
that's fine, if you, I don't necessarily disagree, but I was curious about the reason. But that's a very good point.
I mean,
You cannot.
If you're in a
have the
bar or a
manpower
restaurant, you're in a more
to
confined
enforce.
area. If you're in a vehicle, I can understand things like that. I just think the government has already become so overstretched and so, already so, we're trying to repeal a lot of what was done over the last 8 years.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just, it's just things sometimes government overstretches itself. So.
Nobody's gonna do it.
All right, next we have the Texas Eastern Transmission.
Yes, they have submitted information that they are going to be recoding, repairing their lines. I've already talked to Max about this, and we're gonna send the same type of letter saying we want road survey before and after, and that any detrimental application of the road would be repaired by them.
So it's the same action we just recently took
Yes.
back in the, when,
Yes, when they did it before.
all right.
Okay, this is kind of both old business and this, the rapid needs assessments. You tabled this, do you wish to join with this and send, our AMA director, AMC director to it? This is for damage assessment following through with the recovery process of any emergency.
This is to participate and to send Mr. Lance.
Mr. Lance and or anyone else you wish to. It's in Stilton.
Okay, and there was no fee attached to this, correct?
No, just travel expenses, and this is not even a day, a couple hours at the most.
Correct.
And meals.
And meals, they have to feed themselves.
I make a motion that we go ahead and participate in the rapid needs assessment action, and if willing, Mr. Lance, our EMC coordinator, would participate.
Okay.
Do I have to put in there that any reimbursements for the expenses of the day, or is that township policy?
We do reimburse for mileage, we have that in the budget. Meals, we do not. So, yeah, that would have to be a motion, wouldn't it?
But the mileage is covered, meals.
Mileage
isn't.
is covered, meals are not.
If Mr. Lance submits anything for a meal, I will pay those.
Okay.
You need a
I have a
second?
second.
With the job, Johnny. With the job, Johnny, tag him on
With the limitation according to the federal guidelines.
Send him up to Stanley first to get a pound of bologna.
All right. Do we have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, all opposed? Nay, ayes have it. All right, next we have,
MRM Trust, they are asking for us to either go vote or to sign a proxy for them. This is for the Workers' Compensation Pool Trust.
in the past, we've always just had them
Cross.
send a proxy.
Yes, so what is this called? Sewajipti, or however you pronounce that, is way up north.
I make a motion, we go ahead and accept the proxy for the MRM Trust,
Okay.
Municipal Risk Management Workers' Compensation for Trust. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
All right, it's been second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. Ayes have it.
Okay, Signal Service has done their review of the traffic lights and with things that need to be done, the stop bars, pedestrian crosswalks, pavement markings need to be repainted.
During their inspection, did they do timing of the lights, make sure they were functioning properly?
They have to.
Okay, did they catch anything?
No.
Okay, that light doesn't work.
Especially on foggy mornings.
Light does not work. You could be sitting there, waiting to make a left-hand turn to come into Matzo Balls, and there's people sit, and everybody else that's going straight down the hill gets to go through. And they could be sitting there a lot longer than when you approach the light.
You want me to call them, have them come
Yeah,
out?
that's been an ongoing issue ever since that light was installed.
Well, that, supposedly, Brian, that's a,
5 seconds, you have to be there.
you pull up that light to make a left, if you're not there sitting at least 15 seconds, it won't trigger.
Correct.
That's what Henry had said originally, and it was working for a while.
And I'll tell you what, when you're coming up the hill and that light turns yellow, somebody is just approaching, coming out of coming out of Business Campus Way. And they're not sitting there. That is not working properly.
Yes. So we need to get them to reevaluate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Somebody hammered things to say you trying
That's
to.
all it's gonna cost us, but okay.
The good news is the preemption worked properly today.
What's that?
The preemption worked properly today. It does not every time, but it worked properly today.
I think it has something to do with the sun in the afternoon, the way that sun hits the sensor.
I never really looked at the conditions of the day, but I know it happens quite a bit.
Snow, rain.
Marysville had issues with their signal that was light attributed. They put some kind of shield or something on a sensor for that very reason.
All right, next we have the HRG Local Bridge Inspection Act inspection.
Okay. County has gone with HRG instead of Pannoni for their bridge inspections. These are normally every 2 years unless you fall within a certain category, then it's every year. County wants us to sign that we are asking the county to pay for this, otherwise we're gonna have to pay for the inspection.
So the county's asking us to join with them in the bridge
Yeah,
inspection
they just
program.
want us to sign off that we want the county to do it.
I make a motion that we go ahead and join with the county and the local municipality partnership in the 2017 to 2021 Perry County Bridge Inspection Program. And that's for District 8.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a second? All right, any discussion?
Yeah.
All in favor say aye. All opposed nay. Ayes have it. Next we have Duncannon Borough Recycling.
Yes. Chris had contacted me and said they're having a spring cleanup on the 22nd, and they are including the electronics recycling for the borough residents, and asked if we would like to join them with us paying half the fee for the electronic recycling. Last year it was $2,400, and they've been authorized to spend up to $2,640, which is a 10% increase over last year.
Question, will they be accepting identification to ensure that it is Penn Township residents and Duncannon residents?
Craig?
I believe for borough residents, we haven't done this before. I believe for borough residents in the past, they required either ID or a utility bill.
Okay.
So I
would think, you know, and that certainly could be something, a caveat that you put forth. It can be a, requirement to check an
Well,
ID.
I guess my question is, are we gonna know for sure that they're a Penn Township resident? Even though, how do we know because it's a Duncannon address, how do we know it's not Wheatfield? How do we-
Or Watts.
Or Watts?
Well, have one of our people down there who knows what roads are ours.
This is for electronics?
Electronics only, yes.
Didn't we just do something with the county?
We authorized money towards them for them to do one, yes. Well, we donate some money for it.
Yeah. How many televisions people getting rid of? I mean, I don't,
Well, have you seen the dumping sites throughout the township where they're being dumped?
3 doors up from me.
Yep, they're being dumped, because a lot of your electronic places aren't, like I said, there's only 3 companies in the world, only one in the United States, that takes these products, because they have the lead in the glass and everything. So, your thrift stores don't take them anymore, your recycle centers don't take them anymore, so they're gonna end up in our water by being thrown into stream beds, and, this time of the year, you know, so, it's a problem all over the, well, not just the state, but all over the country, it's a problem, with these TVs and those appliances with those, lead bases in the glass. You know, I was at convention in Wheatfield. They have their issues with people, non-residents, taking their stuff up there. Or residents from other townships or municipalities are getting their friends that live in Wheatfield to pack up their cars with their stuff and take it under the umbrella that they're the resident and it's their stuff. I think if there's an avenue for us to get more and more of that out of our streams and off the side of our roads from being dumped, because really, if we don't get those things cleaned up and keep up on those things, then it becomes a DEP violation for us, because now we're contaminating waterways and not doing anything about it. Groundwater, all that stuff. And then we're in violation of the Chesapeake Bay Agreement. So it really goes downstream. If you ever been down to where the Susquehanna dumps into the Chesapeake, it's horrible. Horrible what's going into the Chesapeake. Yes, sir.
It's a great idea, but unless you get the information out to the public,
Correct.
you're wasting your money.
Correct.
So,
Well, what we would do as the township, since our newsletter has gone out already, we would advertise on the township website. We'd also advertise, maybe in conjunction with Duncannon, on Blue Ridge Cable. There would be the 2 outlets. And maybe a nice, really good blip.
put it in the record or put it on TV or something.
Well, that's what I just said.
Yeah, but how many people get, I mean, I don't get.
I don't have either
cable.
one, so.
I don't get either.
You didn't let me finish. I was just getting ready to say that maybe Jim would do a nice little write-up inside of an article about this recycle program.
Question, is there a cost to the resident for bringing things?
All I was told was it'd be half of the cost of you guys.
Right there.
Oh, no, that's for the county
That's
one.
important, yeah. There usually is a cost, I would check that.
Well, I'm asking.
You know,
If the borough did charge the residents because the borough paid for the dumpster last year, Wheatfield did the same thing. I can't imagine, I mean, I didn't talk Chris specific to these numbers, but if the township would pay 50% of the cost of that dumpster, that service, there wouldn't be a charge to the Penn Township residents.
Would this be just a 1 or 2 day item, or is it gonna be available all year long?
It's a one-day event, Saturday
So if the
evening.
TV burns out the day afterwards, you gotta store it for another year anyway.
Well, the county is the county is also trying to set up something else for later on this year. And that one will cost you so much per piece, what the piece is. And that'll be up in Newport at the fairgrounds.
Are we gonna be able to get it out to the public?
It will give us 20 some days.
That would be my concern.
We tried to do it in conjunction with Earth Day. It would have been ideal to be able to do our community yard sale the week before, and then, you know, clean up for people that didn't get rid of everything at the yard sale. Maybe an option is to contact the school and get some penetration through the students in a take-home or a newsletter on the school website or the school's Facebook pages, because, you know, how many of these computer screens or hardware are coming from parents, you know, from families?
That's a great idea. What I fear there is that it's going out to all the municipalities that support the school district. So it broadens that problem even bigger.
But it would really be no different than putting it, I mean, anyone can see the Penn Township website, anyone can see the paper, anyone can see the cable channel, so, you know, you just need to specify Penn Township residents.
Penn Township and Duncannon Borough residents. For environmental reasons, seeing that they're being dumped, and we have to clean them up anyway, and we have to try to figure out what to do with them. My recommendation is that I make a motion that we go ahead and work in conjunction with Duncannon Borough, with them inviting us to be a part of their spring cleanup / referencing to electronics only, correct? Yes, we don't have to bring anything else except for the electronics, all right?
I see from the notice here, they've authorized up to 26.
Correct.
So are we authorizing up to half of that?
Correct, it would be up to half of that, because the last year it was 24, they were authorized, you know. Now, of course, respectfully, an invoice will be submitted to the township, so we know that that's what was billed, and we're paying half of what was billed.
In less than 4 years.
What's that? Less than 4 years.
Last question.
Okay.
How much does this cost you?
And some say you're not a funny guy.
1320.
I'm sorry?
It'd be 1320, that was 2640.
$1,320.
Yeah.
Up to, it may not be that much, last year wasn't that much, they just included a 10% increase just in case.
Does the township have a cleanup?
We do it in October.
Okay. I was just thinking, not that I want to put anything else on the township, but if the township had a cleanup that day for the other stuff, you know, you could divert people that came here, you know, if that's where you do it, your regular cleanup, you know, a mile away to drop off electronics. I know Wheatfield does the spring and the fall, and I think they do 3 days. They do Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, we do 3 days.
Where's this gonna be held at?
It's the municipal lot adjacent to the cable company.
You have a motion.
Yeah, I made a motion, waiting for a second. We have a second. Any further discussion?
Is there a date with that?
April 22nd, Saturday, April 22nd.
And where did you say the location was going to be?
The municipal lot adjacent to the cable company, off Water Street.
If you would like to relate to Chris, maybe contacting the school district and doing that part of it, and then work with Chris on any other strategies to get this advertised.
Is it all day?
It doesn't have time frame. Is there a time frame?
I'm not sure.
Okay, if you could work out the time frame with Chris
Yeah, I'll work with Chris.
and get that information to Jim. All right, next we have,
No, Pam did.
vote.
Pam did.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Okay, the next thing is DEP sent out an email regarding the Gather Pennsylvania's input on environmental justice and statewide listening tour. They're looking for people to focus on engaging residents and leaders in DEP decision-making process, involving residents and communities that for environmental justice. The closest one here will be Harrisburg on May 2nd. They have 3 goals: minimizing adverse environmental impacts, empowering communities, and fostering economic opportunities. So basically, they're looking for input from residents all over.
So this is just information.
Yes.
If any resident would be interested, I would just go ahead, if Libby, if you could put something on the township website, just, giving information that for residents who would like to participate. There's the date and place.
And the link that. Okay.
Okay, next we have the Keystone Rail.
Yes. This came in from the Keystone West Rail. They are working to enhance passenger rail service between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg and asking us to pass the letter on the second half to you guys. Let's see, what are they doing? Let's got this today. Basically to help support them on King, Norfolk Southern, lobbying them to increase passenger rail service.
So they're asking us to participate in this
To
letter.
support them, yeah.
This letter of support to be able to expand rail system between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg.
And if you're willing to also with funding, of course. First, they're requesting a letter of support.
Well, is it to Harrisburg or is it to New York?
Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, right now. That's where they're looking, concentrating right now.
Okay, because I don't see, unless I'm not. Oh,
First paragraph. First, they're requesting a letter of support. Second, they would ask us to suggest one individual from government, body, or community who'd be willing to serve on the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Well, it'd be really nice if they provided that rail service through our area.
Yeah.
Then we could get our employees, get our residents to work if we could get to Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm.
In other municipalities that have reviewed this, paragraph 3 was instructive too. Paragraph G tells you that your currently taxpayer funds of $14.5 million. This project will cost an additional taxpayer funding of 10 to 13 million more. Your comment of, too bad it doesn't help us, is instructive in making a decision of whether you want to support the rail.
Can we table this to next month?
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion that we table this to next month. I just want to research it a little bit more and get another.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All right, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Okay, and the last thing on the correspondence I have is from the PSATs, their 2017 proposed resolutions, bylaw change, and nominees for their boards. Look them over, let me know what you think on all those, and that's how I'll vote in the end of April when I go to PSAT.
Okay, next we have old business.
Yes. First thing I have is a cannabis survey. We received only 29 responses. 21 were, the question was, do you think it's a good idea for a PA option for wellness to locate in the business campus? 21 said yes, 7 said no, and we had 1 hell no. There's comments that came in with a couple of them, there for your information.
Put an addendum to the option.
All right, next we have,
Answers that question.
Ellen, just to go back to that survey.
Yes.
That was part of the newsletter?
Yes.
Apparently there were pages missing in the newsletter because there were 2 different things that you were to respond to, and it's like see next page, and there was no next page. And that was one of them.
This was on the back of the
Yeah, there was nothing.
page.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I talked to quite a few people, and they didn't have them either.
I didn't receive it either.
Okay, I'll have to check the ones in the
You didn't receive
office.
the newsletter, or you didn't
I
receive
got the newsletter, but I didn't get the survey.
But it should,
It's on the very
it was,
back.
it was on the very back, it was only literally that big.
Very last page.
Very last page, right where the,
And there was something else, I don't remember what it was in there, and it said about for the response or something, and it was to see the next page, and there was nothing, there was a next page, but it was a totally different subject.
okay, I'll
So
have to
there were
double check that.
Things missing.
Yeah, I'll double check that. Okay, the wine law that Lee Wright brought up last month. Looking over this, Lee, this is all state level that they're saying what can be, how things, where's my little email here? No. The law regulates how, what, and where alcohol can be sold. That has no, we have no control over that here, this level. As far as the zoning, if a winery or brewery are permitted, they're permitted.
That's what I asked. That's
Yeah.
all I asked.
And if
I
it's,
asked about the zoning.
yeah.
I know what the law says.
yeah, I'm just answering the, but if it's, you know, and basically every application will be on its own merits, going through the process, through the zoning hearing, the land development and all that. So if it's permitted now or conditional use now in that area, it's gonna stay.
I'm sorry, next on the agenda, we have, the, in question that was brought up, and while we're going over this stuff in old businesses that, several meetings, back, it was, related to the supervisors that sometimes we weren't responding to things. So, we've been trying to pull those things back out of old business, or put them in old business, so that way we can address those, you know, as we get that information. So, this concern here was about, the spelling of, Shermata Drive. Shermanata Drive. Okay, so anyway, Helen, if you can just give the quick explanation of why that is the way it is.
Well, I checked with the PennDOT road maps and also the road docket we have, and it was adopted as Shermanata, Shermanata Drive.
Like the Grange
Yes,
and Valley.
And some were questioning that it was spelled wrong,
yes.
but that's how it was taken over, or was addressed to the township when.
Way back when.
Okay. All right,
Next says Shermanta.
The sign is Shermanta and the post office records are Shermanta. It was always, I always understood that the township ordered the sign was spelled wrong, they put it up anyway. It was always what I was told.
Okay, then we,
That's the issue, that's what Carl brought up.
so the sign is spelled wrong.
The sign is Shermanta without the second A.
okay, so the sign needs to be replaced then. If it's,
I would think
But
that
someone
I'd be talking to him about that.
issues.
Is that state law, or is that?
You now got 911, you change that name, you now got 911 if that's addressed to that wrong name.
I can check with,
That might create an issue there.
EMC will get it straightened out 911. Well,
that's
you
easy.
will, but the EMC should be doing that.
And the other piece that could, I don't know how challenging it is, I've worked with the post office and it's always challenging. But it's the post office, because the post office records, if you go to their digital databases, it's all Shermanta, because they base it on what was posted. We had to, because we have a federal loan program through USDA, we had to change all of our letterhead and everything to match the post office.
This is a project for Mr. Lance.
Yeah. Can't get those.
That will be done through the county.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, next we have, Helen just put a report together for us on updates on where some of the nuisance have been taking place in the township. We had some burning issues that was unauthorized burns that were dealt with and resolved. Several of those, and several of those were at the same residence.
Yeah. One, there's a couple I need how you want to direct me to do this.
Okay.
One is 69 South Main.
It's easy just to say.
There is another sheriff's sale for that property on April 28th. Do you still want me to send, do you want me to send the normal nuisance letters to the owners, supposed owners? Because there's been more damage with the snow to an awning in the backyard. There's trash in the backyard.
If we send something and there's a new owner, does that transfer over to the new owner? We would have to.
No, we have to resend it.
We would have to resend it.
Mhm.
Okay. This has been an ongoing problem with the residents, just like out on Rough Road and other areas of the township.
Yeah.
It is quite stifle when you're driving. It is, it's dreadful. So I recommend that we go ahead and, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and move forward and proceed to start the legal proceedings.
Okay.
On 69 South Main Street.
Okay.
So we have to,
Oh, yeah. Well, or we can do it all at one time.
do we have a second? All right. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, next one, Helen.
The next one I have is Sitco. What we requested them to do has been done as far as boarding up the building. So can I send the letters telling them we're happy with them?
Yeah, if they comply with what we requested.
Yes. Now, a second thing with them, they have tires at the back, which is under the nuisance complaint, and there's a, well, for them, there's a small little construction debris they haven't cleaned up.
Little mounds.
Yes. Have them send them the nuisance letters to clean those up.
Because that wasn't a part of the nuisance.
No, no.
Yes.
So there's two different things there.
I make a motion, we'll go ahead and send them a letter referencing to the tires.
Okay.
Then also to include the mounds of construction debris that's been left behind.
Yeah, that would be all in one letter.
And then also to include with that is to send a letter that the original nuisance has been satisfied.
Okay, the compliance. Okay, same with Dino's, yes.
We have a second on that. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
Okay,
Let
I'm sorry.
me make a legal point.
Yeah.
You don't have to make an motion to enforce ordinances. You say, go enforce those.
Yeah.
Anybody object there, go enforce those?
Okay.
Nope. Only if you're not going to enforce them, if you're going to give an exception, if you're going to give an extension, would you need to do a motion.
Okay.
It's assumed you're going to enforce your ordinances. So if Helen's looking for direction, says, should I send a letter? Anybody got, no, go ahead, send a letter.
So
You don't need to do by motion to follow your own legal
Okay,
procedures.
I withdraw the motion then, so the motion would be, I withdraw the motion.
You just told me to go do it.
Start, go do it.
Go do it. Do we have to do a motion for the letter, saying that they're compliant? No, okay, all right.
Okay. 303 New Bloomfield Road, which is the corner Pee Wee.
Yes.
Mr. Valquez has gotten back to me. Now, he is the brother of the owner, okay? He said that he has made numerous attempts at selling the property to no avail, and that he had suffered a second heart attack a couple weeks ago. Basically, he's asking, he says, I promise I will resolve this as soon as possible. Now, there's a building and there's also an open storm drain, so there's two issues here. He said he started looking for demolition contractors and will keep me informed. I'll take that with a grain of salt,
But
but
there was an agreement back in the fall,
that he would have this done by October.
by October,
So we did not send him the nastygrams
because he
or,
responded.
yes,
Okay. But that response got us nothing.
correct. So we tried to work with him, it didn't work.
It has now collapsed worse.
Correct.
Yes.
That's, it's fallen in.
Send the letters.
Send the letters.
Okay.
That the wish of the board.
Okay, Fisher, that's junk. 10 and 12 Rupp Road. I finally got a hold of someone that told me that because of me putting two names on the citation, they cannot send the citation, I had to redo them. I did so. Then I went up to put them in and was informed, first off, I asked her, why did not someone call me when I did this back in November? Well, it just was, Joe went up in January and they told him it was in the pile to do. They didn't have an answer for that. They said, well, it just got lost. My temper's now gone off. So what she did tell me then is that Matthew was sent the stuff to the address. He did not pick it up, so now the constable's taking care of him. But I had to do Martha again, so I've done that. That's where I'm at. There has been nothing done with that skirting on that property either, with the trailer. And the trash is still there. It's not increased, but it's still there. So I've done everything I can to this point with the DJ, and what do we want to do with the skirting?
It's next.
Well, as far as the skirting goes, that would be to secure the property. The house has been boarded up and everything, all the busted windows and doors and everything taken care of. The skirting on the trailer is the only thing they have not done.
And the trash.
And the trash. Trash is nuisance. This is the other.
Building inspector note the skirting on his inspection report as a nuisance.
I have to, I think he put that because you can get into the line.
If he did, then
Yes.
follow up on it. If he didn't, then don't do anything with it. You can't do anything about the skirting. It's either got to be an access issue based on your first citation.
Okay.
Or it's skirting that's falling down. We don't have a property maintenance code.
No, we don't have a property maintenance
So,
code.
so long as he in his original letter mentioned skirting as a public nuisance or a hazard or an access point, then continue enforcement.
Okay.
Yeah, but how long is that gonna take? Yeah, we're looking at.
We have to go through the magistrate, and she just told you that the magistrate's the one, you wouldn't want us coming to your house and doing anything without you getting due process, and unfortunately, the magistrate dropped the ball.
So how do we get him off his backside to get something?
They're there now. The next thing is the magistrate needs to schedule a hearing.
And how long should that take to him to get to that?
Last November?
It should
That's how
only,
long it should take, last November.
yeah, and
So
So if I call him next week and ask you when it's on the schedule, should I expect an answer?
I don't know, that's his schedule, not mine. You might prompt him.
I think I shall do that, because we've been dealing with this since last, well,
longer than November.
Yes.
Now, if it's from the building permit,
it's also an election year.
building
Yeah.
inspector, that would be under the one we did through you. So that would be,
Nope, you're just gonna file, your option for the skirting is, if the skirting is an access issue they failed to resolve, then the municipality would go in and fix it and bill the property owner. Correct.
okay. And put a lien on to get that, okay.
Then the municipal lien goes on the property.
Okay, once the magistrate gets onto this, what can he do?
Fine him,
Huh?
fine him.
We've done that in the past.
They've been fined and all kinds. Is there any option that he has to make them clean that up? No?
Not a district magistrate.
So we just supposed to live with it then? Is that the idea?
That's what the government put in place. We don't have any more power than what the government gave the local municipality, and local municipalities only have the ability to fine.
So who
How
are we
often
talking?
can we fine?
You can fine every day constitutes a new violation, I think, under your ordinance.
He'll just refuse to pay him. That's the kind of idiot he is.
Well, at some point, though, there's enough that you can take the property, but you don't take the property for $1,000, you take the property for $20,000 in past fines.
It's not worth that much.
See the point?
Yeah.
No, I don't see the point.
The point is, our hands are tied as much as yours are.
Yeah, but as citizens, we have to jump all the time, and when it comes the other way around, it never works that way.
We're doing everything we can, that's all I can tell you.
Well, what if we file appeals to our taxes and have our taxes reduced? Then you're gonna get less money here.
Then that's what you do. That's a county decision, not ours.
How
That's,
about local representatives, can they do anything?
maybe. They can change laws,
No.
they give us more power.
That takes years.
What about fining? Can you, as, like you say, you fine $50 today. Tomorrow you get a $100 fine. The next day you get 200. Can you do that?
That's the DJ.
That's a trip to the magistrate for each
Okay,
fine.
for each fine.
Mm-hmm. What we can do is every day, I send out a citation and take them up. That's
Have you done that?
not each day yet. I haven't been authorized to do that yet.
We only got there for day one, according to the magistrate.
Yeah.
Finally got someone served.
And we are keeping record of what we're spending time-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So if he actually doesn't get the letters, the citations, you can't track him down, then he doesn't consider being
Well,
served.
eventually they go over to the constable and the constable tracks.
Well, that's what's happening with Matthew.
Yeah, correct.
Do they know where he lives?
But if Matthew can't be tracked down, no, your answer's right. You have to serve a defendant before you can have a hearing.
The other thought maybe is that every day is a new fine, which your ordinance probably allows,
Mm-hmm.
that every fine is a new set of paperwork and a new set of time for the judge's office.
Yes.
So if he's got to process and schedule 40 hearings for 40 days, you know,
I get
it's
it.
probably in his office's best interest to do something about it sooner rather than increase his load.
I say enforce our ordinance and enforce the process.
Okay. I can do that.
Unrelated, but back to a previous issue. The cleanup in the borough is at the municipal lot adjacent to
Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge Cable, the Wheeler Field. Thank you. And it's from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Saturday, April 22nd. 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. I've got to step out because my wife leaves for work. But have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
All right.
no, I'm not done yet. I got a list.
Did I follow nuisance with you?
Helen, he's the one that pushed everything back last meeting.
I know.
This one.
6 Hilltop.
Nuisance report.
6 Hilltop. The gentleman dug a trench back behind up on the mountain. My mountain climbed to see this. I've called county conservation and Neil's gonna check it out. How, he might, depending on how much it impacts, ship it right back to us. At that point, our stormwater ordinance would come into effect and him would go up and tell me what needs to be done. So I would need authorization to do that if it happens before the next meeting.
Yeah. We'll give you
Is that the
all-
silt runoff complaint?
Oh, yeah.
Where's it going?
It's coming down the side of his property, going onto the neighbor's property, coming down onto the road. When I went out there, I could see the brown streak down to State Road.
Okay, I was down there, nothing on the road.
Yeah, there was the last time I was.
I mean, I got pictures of it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you got more of an issue with the neighbor at the garage with the tires and every old junk laying at the garage, which I have pictures of as well.
I'll look at those tomorrow.
Okay, I say go ahead, if you're authorized to go ahead and take care of that.
Okay. If Neil doesn't take care of it, then we'll take care of it. And then, out there on Creek Road, this poor gentleman has animals crossing the road to come in onto his property. Animals as in chickens and goats and pigs and dogs. Yes. This started when we still had a police department. Pickles went out and talked to him, ignored him. Then he sent the gentleman a letter regarding the livestock, ignored it. The dogs I can take care of. I can do through the nuisance and all that. Lenny suggests that we go now and cite the gentleman under the zoning for not complying with putting in a permit to see if he's, first off, even allowed to have the animals on that lot. Question, Lenny used to have the police cite him. Does that roll back down to me again? Or does Lenny do it?
Lenny does it, he's a zoning officer.
Okay, good. Obviously, this gentleman's very upset. And there has been talks of having free food. So, yeah, that's how we'll do that. I also, yes, this has been an ongoing problem. My last one is over here at Sherman's Creek and 1115. Got a call from DEP. Someone dropped about 20 TVs on the bank between the railroad road that goes out and Sherman's Creek. Of course, DEP is putting it into our laps. So, but then he did suggest that we call county to see if the county recycling could help us. I don't know. I talked to Shelley Pangiris up there today.
Is that railroad property?
No, it actually belongs to Larry Miller. Because they have the road going over to their rails. I double checked that. I was hoping it was railroad property. The county's trying to figure out if they could help us or not. The other option is we go clean them up, and then we have to dispose of them.
Is that something that we could?
Can we do that before April 28th?
April 22nd, from 8 a.m. to 1
That's what I
p.m.
was about to say, is that something that we can,
Yes. Now,
we can speak with Chris about?
yeah,
Can take?
yeah, we could talk to them about that.
But it's 25 TVs,
About 20, he said.
about 20.
They've been gutted. So anything that's worth money, according to the DEP gentleman, is gone.
Well, why should we clean it up if it's on private property?
Yeah, we should, the DEP's trying to work with Larry Miller.
Well,
Okay?
Let's see what the county can do.
Yeah, that's,
Then if anything,
What would authorize the township to go in on private property?
that's right.
yeah, we can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Clean up.
But if we could
How
make
about cutting my
contact,
grass?
only if mine gets cut.
yeah, I would see what the county can do.
Yeah.
Work with the situation.
That's an ordinance,
um,
it's called ordinance.
But try to, we don't have proof that it's the owner that did this.
No, Mr. Miller is down in Maryland.
Okay.
I mean, he still has his house up here and he still has property,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen hide nor hair of him for a couple of years.
See what the county can do, see if they can assist in that.
Yeah, and that's where we're at right now with the
We can try
county.
to make contact with the landowner then, and see if there's something that can be worked out, you know. All right,
Okay, that's all I have for old business.
okay, new business, let's make this quick.
This is quick. I have 2 requests for signs to be put up. One is at Kinsey Lane, a no-through traffic sign. This is the road on the side of the school, and the other side is Susquehanna Hills Road. This road actually is what the buses go down to turn into the parking lot. And then Mr. Sample, over here on Gamber's Corner, Faculty Road Corner, would like to have tractor signs put up. Of course, he would have to pay for them, and we'd put them up.
So the first sign would be the responsibility of the township.
Yes.
And the second one would be, Mr. Sample to purchase the signs, previous agreements. You buy these stuff, we put them in.
Yeah, and he knows that.
Same thing we did for Mr. Knowles
Yes.
last year.
And Ken was going to get with Mr. Samples and find out where he wants them, if you guys approve of these.
Make a motion, then we go ahead and authorize the township to place the no through traffic on Kinsey Lane. And then also to approve of the signs to be placed on Faculty Road. The signs for Faculty Road will be purchased by Mr. Stephen Sample, and the post that goes with them.
Yes, they get the whole,
And the township will join with them as in placing those signs.
okay. And then there would be two of those signs, one going up faculty and one come down.
Correct. All right, do I have a second?
Have a second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. All right, anything else on the new business? No. All right. I make a motion, we go ahead and adjourn this meeting.
I second that.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, we got two on top, I think.
I know.
Well, you have to
Good like
get,
that.
that's because they're there.
I didn't realize it.
Oh, yeah.